Let me show you how to make.
This is more for like a compact design.
Look at that, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. Put an optic on there and good to go. Like.
Jeez.
Whoa. I mean, if we like technically use it daily.
First donation.
That's great. That's great. All right, thanks for the donation, Ivory. So, no, I have not seen Dr. Mike's new vid about protein. I'm assuming he just says something stupid about vegan protein not being as good as animal protein, and I can't be fucked to watch it. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of those fucking videos get uploaded year after year. It's all the same shit. They say the same thing. It's completely unsubstantiated by any actual evidence. All they do is make some stupid speculation. And again, I don't know how many fucking natural lifters have made videos like that, like Vitruvian Physique. I'm bigger and stronger than all of them. So either their parents are fucking cousins and they gave them fucked up defective genes and they should have been part of a eugenics program, or I'm a genetically superior fucking superhuman that despite having, the inferior protein where you can't build as much muscle, I'm still somehow able to get bigger and stronger than all of them. I don't care. I don't give two fucking shits if Mike Israetel wants to blab about fucking nonsense that he knows nothing about. Cool story. Right. You're not going to build as much muscle eating vegan protein. That's why you need to take steroids. I wonder if your fucking loose skin, being overweight constantly, overeating nonstop, and still getting fat and gaining weight, even after you had to have liposuction and skin removed. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to you about diet. Okay. You donated $2. President of El Salvador tweeted this post about the current situation in Paris. Thoughts? I have no idea what's going on in Paris.
Don't get me wrong, I love living in Paris, but it is not for the fucking weak. I, want to be able to go outside right now and to be able to enjoy life, but I've been harassed so many fucking times in this goddamn city that I'm afraid to go anywhere fucking alone. And there's a whole beautiful city out there that I just want to see, but I'm actually fucking terrified.
I couldn't give a shit about some dumb white girl fucking complaining about horseshit on the internet. Like, show me crime statistics or something. I have no idea if Paris has, like, a problem. Thanks for the donation to you. Dodo, don't need to lose your thumbnail of Gummy is precious. Well, thank you, Dodo.
We pay him with
Okay.
Holy shit, that's pretty. Oh, dude. Yo.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean it, eh? I mean, like, if you're making fences, like, might as well make them nice. Nice fences are nice.
I'd punch that guy right in the fucking mouth.
And you guys are fast as fuck. I like you guys. You? No,
yo, dude, what are
show
we
me
doing?
your bitch. You're good.
Man.
And your butt. The river. Hey, you want to try?
Fuck away, I don't want to cause
I'm the
problems.
bitch.
No, dude, please.
You just
Please.
said.
We're sorry.
No, you
We're
hit. I'm
sorry.
an asshole.
Oh, we're sorry.
Swim me. You want to swim because biking is boring?
I'd throw that guy over the fucking bridge. I don't know why I didn't just knock that guy's teeth out. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Guy in urinal a few spots away from me started staring at me, then he came right to the urinal next to the one I was using and started wanking and staring at me. I started yelling in the store calling him a rapist lol. He got kicked out, nothing happened.
Well, that's a funny situation. Thanks for the donation, Jacked Up. Dodo, don't you tell us, are these people all Marxist? Do they think their dancing proves they're part of the oppressed and they're actually doing something? Yeah, they're all communists. Stupid. BG, I feel the same way. I think especially in the last 5 or so years, there's just been massive amounts of communist infiltration into the left wing. But thanks for the donation, Dodo. Dodo donated $2.
No one, Koi Michael Ali, who can stop you from becoming a president. Dream big, have a vision. Because if Barack Hussein Obama can be a president, Sohaib Jawad cannot be a president. Tell him. He's going to be a president. He's talking about that the Muslims will take over Mecca. They used to laugh at him. What happened? What is Mecca now? Where is Mecca? It's coming. Change is coming to America. And what is Allah telling us? Kuntum khayra ummatin. You are the best of nations. You're better than everybody else. That's what Allah is saying. Let's work towards that. Let's work towards a Muslim mayor. Next election that comes in, nominate people for the school board of education. Next election that comes here, nominate people for the local township. Begin the demographics change.
Oh yeah, we nearly all do that. We just tell people how gay Israel is, Hamas will lose 90% of their support. I've seen a billion of those videos, dude. Don't care anymore. Don't care about that guy. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
By the way, are you dead set on going on gear or are you just thinking about it?
I'm just thinking about it. Thanks for the donation, Ivory. Dodo, donate $2. Destiny streaming now. Can you tell him about Zoran being a jihadist and ask him how he can help? I don't think his Discord's open. I'm not going to bother. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Is this considered a jizya?
Can't open the link. Thanks for the donation, Vegan Irishman.
Destiny's son weighs in on Israel and Hitler.
Hey man, fair enough. What would dismantling like Israel look like in your opinion? Like
I'd say it'd be mass execution of all the high-ranking officers in the military. It'd be mass execution of the.
Chill. Don't whoa. Don't whoa.
Is his son, like, a little too heavily medicated? The way he's shaking is kind of weird.
Whoa, don't get me banned.
In Minecraft. In
Minecraft, okay.
I
I can't even really ask you this question because we're on YouTube. Thoughts on Hitler? Don't get me banned, bro.
Ooh, a great guy.
What? Bro.
The Holocaust deaths. Okay, number one, the Holocaust.
And people.
Number one,
It's hard to say, if he's just making a joke or not, but thanks for the donation, nigga. Kid Boo donate $2, even CNN saying my nigga Trump doing work, skip to 4 minutes.
And he knows that the lower courts cannot carte blanche.
For the past few weeks, and
don't care about that guy. Thanks for the donation, Kid Boo. 21st donate $2. Why are you acting like a child today? I literally just started stream, dude. Okay. Well, at least she's based.
Will fall this fall. Does that sound right? Xi's mother passed away, but the CCP refuses to announce it, and more of Xi's generals have been purged, and he won't be attending the BRICS summit. Welcome to Elite Politics. It's so serious, we're busting out the suit and shirts, and honestly, this week, the news surrounding Xi's loss of power has jumped to another level. They say the devil is in the details, and it's never been more true than now. This latest piece of information doesn't come from a nobody online. It actually comes from a prominent Taiwanese commentator, and he wrote a column in Up Media. Here's what he says. He received the following news from two independent sources. One is a well-known anti-Xi politician in Beijing who said that everyone should wait and see. There will be changes in the fall, and signs will be visible in October. The other is the son of a deceased retired senior military official. He said that the Beijing officialdom has been very abnormal recently, but he was not willing to say more. And this leads me to say that Xi Jinping's loss of power is more and more concrete. Now it's just about when it's going to happen. Previously we had guessed that maybe the end of summer, early fall. But now it seems like the timeline might be pushed back by 1 or 2 months into October, because that's likely when the fourth plenum will happen. The commentator also says that it's hard to confirm.
Oh sorry VG, have you got somewhere else to be? You seem like you're in a rush and have something better to do. Fuck me VG, put effort in, don't cry and go wah, just react to videos. Okay baby Richard, can baby Richard do that, or is that too hard?
Yeah, I can do that. Thanks for the donation, Bootycam.
From recent news which we've covered, such as the expanded Politburo meeting that happened in May, or that there's a list of the new candidates to replace Xi Jinping with. So far, what we've covered is, in his view, plausible but unconfirmed officially. And this, however, does not change my assessment of what's going on, simply because so far the track record for these so-called rumors have been pretty high. There's credible chatters this week that Xi Jinping's mother, Qi Xin, had passed away. But this isn't just about a mother's death. This is about Xi Jinping's political strength. Back in 2022, a similar rumor spread, but state media quickly shut it down. Hong Kong papers published reports showing local officials visiting senior party elders, and Xi's mother was conveniently listed among them. But this time, nothing. No contradictions or reports. Xi Jinping has never built his authority on personal heroism alone. His leadership image has always leaned heavily on his parents, who are revolutionary party elders. So his bloodline, especially through his father, Xi Zhongxun, essentially was a propaganda goldmine for him. So when Xi Jinping was trying, and when he was actually in full control, elevated the status of his father, built a memorial bigger than Mao Zedong's for his father, which obviously later I got renamed, so that's another sign. And he went out of his way to show.
Vegan Irishman, donate $2, try this link. Is this considered jizya?
I'm going to quote it for folks, is to shift the tax burden from overtaxed homeowners in the outer boroughs to more expensive homes in richer and whiter neighborhoods. Explain why you are bringing race into your tax proposal.
That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed. We've seen time and again that this is a property tax system that is inequitable. It's one that actually Eric Adams ran on, saying that he would change in the first 100 days.
I don't think he has any fucking clue what he's talking about. Property taxes are heavily reliant on, like, just how much infrastructure is already built up and in place. If you go to, like, fairly newly built suburbs, they have ridiculously high property taxes because they don't generate much revenue, but, like, their operating costs might be really high, like a sewer system or something. So, they usually end up having more property taxes, but if you go to a really old downtown area that's existed forever, and there's a lot of businesses there generating revenue that you can just also get revenue from, property taxes tend to be super low. Like, if you go to downtown Toronto, it's some of the lowest property taxes in the entire country. But if you go to a fairly new suburb like in Pickering, Ontario, they're way higher. So when he says this, like he just sounds like a fucking retard to me, because it's like, it's not a matter of, oh, they're getting taxed more and they're getting taxed less, so obviously that's unfair. Well, if they live in an area that generates a lot of fucking revenue where you don't need to, and it's also already well developed, well, you're not going to need to pay any more property taxes. Like it's, so yeah, the Mandani is just a fucking dumb fuck, dude. Thanks for the donation, Vegan Irishman. Dodo donated $2.
Destiny's son is not a fan of Israel.
Yeah, well, I'm aware of that.
Our greatest ally has never fought alongside us in any major conflict. They have taken so much money, yet have not repaid a single, they've repaid barely a dime of the billions upon trillions of dollars we've sent them over decades. They've bombed our ships and claimed it was an accident, and they fund anti-American, pro-jihadist terrorist organizations for their own benefit, even while we're still...
Okay, well, he's a retard. Thanks for the donation, dude. Dodo donate tellers, he sounds like Gordon Ramsay. Also, would you do the same thing?
I'm not paying for you as well. Thank you. Use your ticket. No, you use your ticket, thank you.
Sorry?
This is my ticket. I'm not paying for you as well.
Don't hit like, yeah?
No, don't walk in after me. Don't try and jump a fucking ride off me. I pay my ticket, you pay yours, thank you.
Yeah,
You're trying to jump
don't
through.
hit like
No,
that.
don't push past then.
Don't hit
No,
like that.
don't push past
Don't
then.
hit like that.
Why? Why should I not?
I'd literally walk up and smack him in the fucking face again and then tell him, like, what are you gonna do, bitch?
I was simply stuck. People
Don't hit
fucking
me
things.
like that. Fucking cocksucker. Oh. Wow. Uh-oh. Guess they're not friends.
In the 1990s, everyone was saying the internet is the death knell of authoritarian regimes because this empowers everyone to have information. Information control is no longer possible. Social control is no longer possible. You know, would that were true, right? The Chinese government very, very early said, no, that is wrong. This is the holy grail of Chinese leadership since the 2nd century BC. Right, where we sit on top of this vast empire. It's great. We have all this territory, all of this wealth is flowing in, and we have no idea what people are thinking or doing far away. This has bedeviled every Chinese administration for thousands of years, and even into the 1990s. It was an authoritarian system. It was very fragmented, and it was very, very hard for the central government to really have any idea what was going on. And now we have a panopticon because everyone is online. And if we control the online universe, then we see everything. And then we're pretty confident that we can keep the discourse under control. And they won that bet, right? In the 19...
Shit down! It's midnight! I will turn it down. I would love to. You just have to ask me, and I'm being nice even though you're screaming at me. Fuck you! Okay. I'm coming back every night! I'm destroying and wrecking your shit! Fucking ass, bitch! Let's let another day.
Well, yeah. They're just annoying dipshits. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Fraud Saladino $20. I'll never forget this Muslim intellectual titan.
He's being more slippery than the lubricants that he sells in his daughter's sex shop. And that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, he also has a weird obsession with piss. He talks about it a lot. Thanks for the donation, Fraud Saladino. Dodo, $8. Go back to the cheetah video of VG. You need to watch the end. He is protecting the deer from a bad guy. Also, can you just check if Destiny's in Discord? I don't know about that. He is not in Discord. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Have you heard about this story with Cobra Kai / Karate Kid actor Martin Kove?
Let me take a look.
To be very clear with witnesses.
Tonight, newly released police body camera video showing the very real confrontation between two Cobra Kai co-stars.
Buddy, you may not bite me. It hurts.
Actor Martin Kove, seen here in the black jacket after he was escorted out of a fan event where he allegedly bit and then kissed his co-star's arm.
I apologize. I was just playing because we're very playful together, and I bit down too hard, and I meant to
She's got a mouth mark on her.
I know.
No, we do not play like that.
Kove, who is now 78 years old, made famous for his role as John Kreese in the Karate Kid films, Kai, where he reprises his role as the villainous V teeth into Alicia.
That is very weird. Wonder if he's on drugs.
Roche's arm at the Summer Con event at the Washington State Fairgrounds Sunday. The cast seen in good spirits on the way to the event, but later, 37-year-old Roche telling police she had just been assaulted at her booth.
Fighting sons.
The star, who goes by the stage name Alicia Hannah Kim, named Cove as her assailant, saying he suddenly grabbed her arm and bit her upper arm so hard it nearly drew blood, and she yelled out in pain.
Do you want me to hit you too? The only reason I don't, sir, is because you are a senior citizen and I respect the elderly. I will not cross that line, but trust me, if you were 50, I would have decked you.
Kim turning to police when she said Cove exploded after she and her husband confronted him.
Honestly, I'm ashamed of your dignity as an 80-year-old man to scream.
Nail Sensei, I'm the Nail Sensei. We have all our scenes together, and we have a lot of fun.
You say that we're friends and that we play. Sir, we work together. We shake hands, we do photo ops, we get along. When have I ever bit you?
Eventually apologizing for the assault and subsequent conflict.
I'm ashamed.
No idea. The guy's a weirdo. Thanks for the donation, Mr. Krabs. Two USA pesos, donate $2, Pav VG's front porch.
I've been waiting on this day to tell you how much I hate this fucking house. The waters, all the shit that you order, all of the shit, I hate it. I hate this house. I hate that you order shit. You are the fucking laziest fucking house in this whole goddamn neighborhood. You're inconsiderate. You're full of shit. I fucking hate everything about y'all. I hate it. All you have to do is fucking order the store from Walmart pickup or Central pickup or whatever and go put the shit in your own truck and go do it your fucking self. You are the laziest sons of bitches.
Maybe they shouldn't be delivery drivers if they don't want to deliver things. Yeah, I've seen that one.
We're gonna do it again.
Well, yeah, maybe you shouldn't pick a fight with somebody who's half your age. Thanks for the donation, 2 USA pesos.
Sup pencil neck. Where were you last night? Crying in your bed? Lol.
I wasn't able to sleep the night before, so I just slept. Thanks for the donation, CDG. Green Knight Donatellers, did you hear about what happened in Idaho yesterday?
Police in Idaho are looking for a motive in that ambush attack on firefighters over the weekend
near
the border of Washington State. And joins.
Walk us through a timeline, transmissions that capture firefighters were killed, a rifle near.
Yeah, who knows why the guy did it? Maybe he's just crazy. Thanks for the donation, Green Knight.
What's your best friend's name? And is he in the States or Canada?
I'm not telling you. Thanks for the donation, Tool.
Very long time no see, man. Been watching former streams as my schedule is while catching the lives. But glad to see you doing well and making them shedded gains. Been living the workout videos. Keep it up and also fuck Greg Douchette. Head shaking horizontally emoji.
Well, thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. I'll have some more training content soon. I actually just bought a safety squat bar. Thanks for the donation, Andrew. Cam, donate $2 Garbo for you. Okay.
They bounce on it, crazy style, Chinese， 疯狂跳动，疯狂跳动，疯狂跳动，疯狂跳动 ，bounce。
Okay, thanks for the donation, Cam.
Go off the legacy of his.
John Bravo follow-up video on King Azule.
Yeah, I've already got that open in another tab. We'll watch that next. Thanks for the donation, Mr. Krabs.
Father, even including documentaries and drama TV shows that were, trying to whitewash and glorify his father's achievements. It was all part of the story. His father's legends. He is supposed to be the suitable, the rightful heir to the throne. But strangely, the latest playbook doesn't seem to apply to his mother. If it is true that his mother did pass away, which, by the way, I got from a credible source, a Chinese YouTuber who actually received this information, so I do believe it is true, then what we should see, logically, is similar treatments or a massive state funeral hosted for the mother of Xi Jinping, who is supposed to be the mother of the paramount leader, right? What we should be seeing is a flood of praise for Qi Xin, who is the mother of Xi. It honestly would have been a perfect opportunity to remind everyone of Xi Jinping's so-called noble roots and perfect image, but we've got nothing so far.
Dear China Insider viewers, this August, I'm heading to Forest City in Malaysia, a hunting symbol of China's rule, the decade of Belt and Road and for any donate a raw nation, never tops the
muted field as influently will be one that's worth bringing. So join us on the journey today. And the reason is simple. Xi Jinping is not as influential or powerful as he is behind closed doors anymore, and the fact that is a muted funeral would spell more disasters for the situation, right? Think about it. Quiet, small ceremony would shout to party insiders that Xi Jinping can't even bury his own mother properly according to his status, and that would honestly probably cause more speculations than actually truth. And it would prove that the elders are in control and Xi Jinping's loss of power is also real. So for the safest move right now is to say nothing and pretend like nothing's happening. And things just get stranger from here. Xi Jinping recently announced that there will be a military parade held on September 3rd, which is their commemoration against the anti-fascist war, which is the Second World War, and specifically against the Japanese invasion. They do this every 10 years. So
that's really fucking strange when the Communist Party did nothing to fight the Japanese and they literally just hid. Let the capitalist, America-friendly government fight the Japanese and lose. And then they use that opportunity to take power. I don't know what my deadlift is right now. I'm only doing stiff leg deadlifts.
It seems like a normal thing where you have, the top leader announcing that there will be a military parade. Except, like I said, the details really, when you compare it, makes all the difference. In 2015, the announcement reads, under the leadership of the Party Central Committee, the Central Military Commission, and Chairman Xi, the Military Parade Leadership Group, and the Joint Command Headquarters, and compare that to the 2025 version, which reads, the Party Central Committee and the Central Military Commission have decided to hold a grand military parade at Tiananmen Square in the capital on September 3rd this year. Xi Jinping, General Secretary of the CCP Central Committee, President of the PRC, and Chairman of the Central Military Commission will review the troops. You see the difference, right? In 2015, it was that Xi Jinping, the Central Commission, the party decided that they will host this parade and they will do a bunch of stuff. And then fast forward to 2025, it's the party and the military that decided to host the parade, but Xi Jinping is just there to be the inspector of the troops, which means that he's just some dude who does work rather than lead, which tells me that Xi isn't part of the top leadership anymore. Also in this event, according to the report in 2015, Xi Jinping personally attended a medal ceremony the day before, and he gave medals to the veterans and family of the veterans. And in the report, it even bolded the portion that says Xi will personally issue the medal and, quote, which fully reflects the care and love of the Party Central Committee for the veterans' comrades. That means in 2015, again, Xi Jinping represented the party, is equal to the party, and is the party.
Hi VG, I'm new to the stream and I love them. I like how real you are. I saw your Inkiri vids where you shit on him. I've watched him for years. Is he actually a dog shit coach and a moron? A lot of your evidence is due to your client. Was he truthful?
Again, if what I said in the video wasn't true, why did Inkiri not try to debunk one single claim? Why didn't he, like, do anything to prove, oh, this didn't happen, look at the emails, this is what happened, so that should tell you. If none of it was true, I'm sure Inkiri would have fucking, made an argument. Thanks for the donation, though, Vegan Penis.
Party. Now to 2025, the same medal ceremony, it reads, second, in the name of the CCP Central Committee, the State Council, and the Central Military Commission, the 80th anniversary victory, blah, 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 medal will be awarded to surviving veterans, comrades, generals of the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression, or their surviving relatives. It doesn't even mention Xi Jinping anymore. And that again tells me that she is no longer equal to the party, no longer equal to the military, and no longer speaks on behalf of the party. Strangely, when he announced that there will be a military parade, he obviously invited a bunch of foreign leaders to come and watch. He is not attending the BRICS summit, along with Putin of Russia. Now, Putin I get because there's an international arrest warrant against him, so he wants to skip. But Xi Jinping's fine. He's not being, wanted around the world, and why wouldn't he go? Honestly, if it were me, I would just speculate that it's because he loves to give away money. The CCP in the past decade, in order for them to buy influence from different countries so that they call China the leader of the world, is literally giving away billions of dollars to that country. That's literally the goal of the Belt and Road Initiative, which is to loan these countries huge amounts of money, build them roads and stuff so that they can say, yeah, China's in control, China's our leader. But now, well, the fact that Xi Jinping's not in control anymore, they don't want him to spend this money, and actually that's a breath of sigh for a lot of people because, yeah, he spent a lot of money. I even made a short video. It's called a big coin toss because he loves to give away money. And lastly, there's been more generals that's been purged or have been recently taken away, like literally this week. This comes from a former legal advisor to a top CCP official named Hu Zhenhua. His name is Du Wen. Now, Du Wen wrote on X the following. He says that Lieutenant General of Air Force Chao Xiangji, currently serving as Deputy Commander of the Southern Theater Command and the Air Force of that theater, was taken away during a meeting. The scene was extremely terrifying. Chao was scared out of his wits and everyone present was stunned. Another one that was taken away is the political commissar of the Rocket Force. Now this guy's interesting because remember in 2023 there was a huge purge of the Rocket Force. So many of these people were arrested. That was the Stalinization of Xi Jinping because he wanted to replace those people in the Rocket Force he called disloyal with more loyal commanders. And he did. But so this guy that has served there since 2023 has now been removed. Do you think that Xi Jinping within 2 years decided that, oh yeah, let me just drop a rock on my own foot and that, shoot myself in the foot too, to literally get rid of the people that I replaced with? Possible, but in my opinion, the more likely answer is that somebody else did this. Just as we learned this week that, of course, Mao Hua, who was always rumored to have been purged, has been officially confirmed.
So, all the Xi Jinping loyalists are getting disappeared, so yeah. So much for Xi Jinping. I wonder what that's gonna do to China's, Taiwan invasion plan.
That he is out of the picture, and he has been purged. And so that was, again, a key ally of Xi Jinping in the military as well. So it tells me that now it's Xi's own people who are getting purged and he has no control over it. So more than ever, I believe that Xi's time is over. But again, like I always say, the CCP remains, and that's the bigger problem.
But I'm going to show you here a document now on the screen. And you know what this is? This is this trying to change his name to Ben Aston. And the reason why he wanted to change it was because he knew. Time with a single hand, just like a superhero. Because remember, he was special. even the cream of some young guy told him this.
Eventually, the owner fell in love with me, and he said, "That kid is special."
I still don't know a single man that can come even close to accomplishing something like that. So I gotta give the guy credit.
Why am I so low energy? Because I'm barely eating anything, dude. That's what happens when you don't eat. You have very little energy.
That piece of shit, Ben Azuli. But that's all I'm gonna give him credit for.
If I found a woman that's a virgin, I'm gonna marry her before even sleeping with her.
And one other thing, what he did to that poor girl, ruining her life at 15.
How in the fuck does anybody even know of these people? Like, they're just so obviously fucking retarded and full of shit. How do they even develop a fucking following? Like, are 15-year-old kids that fucking stupid?
Years old. But I was thinking, there was no way this is the only incident he had in his life. There had to be more. And I uncovered more shit about this asshole. And he took even more steps to try to hide this from everyone. And now...
Sorry to interfere into such important talk, but bro, I am sad, as I was going to pay to you sing the song If You Know You Know, but they literally took the channel down as I can't find the song now. Crying face emoji. Also totally understand the diet feels. You got this, VG.
Well, that's too bad. Thanks for the donation though, Andrew. Yeah, Jolington, if I just eat, then I don't lose weight. A diet only works if you're in a fucking caloric deficit. So when people keep saying, oh, VG, why don't you get ripped abs? Why don't you get, like, super shredded again? And then when, yeah, I experience the fucking side effects of dieting, low energy, bad mood, fucking shitty sleep, why don't you just eat? Well, if it worked that way, everybody would be walking around fucking ripped and shredded, wouldn't they?
I'm gonna go over it all with you.
Now it looks like I pissed off a lot of people, guys. A lot of people. So many because I became so influential so quick. And I'm literally one of the most talked about influencers in the world today.
Yeah, you're being talked about, you asshole, for being a PDF file. Is that what you want to be known for, you piece of shit?
That I got to the point that they're putting out a lot of false information about me.
You're gonna pretend that what happened and what you and your buddies and your brother did to that 15-year-old girl didn't happen? Remember, you admitted it in court, you asshole. You forgot?
But you see, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm gonna say this. It's gonna come out of my mouth. It looks like the Matrix is attacking me. It looks like they don't want me around because I'm helping men, teaching them to become men, to take care of women.
I've triggered you, fuck me, VG, calm the fuck down.
My bad. Thanks for the donation, Bootycam.
Now I gotta tell you, in the last 7 days, I've gotten hundreds of death threats. And my team told me about it, because guys, I don't check my messages. Only if you're somebody who loves me, I'll come in, I'll send you a voice message, but I don't check my messages anymore. So, a bunch of death threats. Now on top of that, everybody wants to fight me because of all these false accusations on social media. They're like, oh, my dad could kick your ass. Oh, my friend's a fighter, he could kick your ass. Oh, my teacher said he could kick your ass. I'm like, listen, I'm not fighting anybody unless you're a name. I created this fame. I'm not gonna give you fame just because you want to fight me. It doesn't make any sense for me. So guys, bring me a real name. Bring me Andrew Tate, bring me Conor McGregor, bring me Mayweather, bring me Jake Paul.
So after the last video, many of you guys stated, you know, there's no way a person with this past, what he did to that girl, was the only thing he did in his life. And I looked into the situation, and, you know, people, you know, when I put out these videos, many times people like you reach out to me. And people from his past, men, women with stories, came and shared information about this asshole with me. And then also I looked into his criminal background. He had warrants, domestic violence issues, restraining orders, and to top it all off, he went to great lengths to hide it all from the internet, which I'm going to show you. One woman in particular that had a relationship with Ben shared with me.
Joe, look what you did. Now Richard is exhausted 5 minutes into the stream. He blew his load. Damn it, Joe. Fuck. Richard, just drink a large mug of black tea, please. Wake up. You owe us a long stream after taking the night off.
It's not that simple, CDG. You can't just, like, take caffeine and have energy. I had 2 energy drinks earlier today, and I still, like, couldn't fucking move. So, I don't want to take any more caffeine right now because it'll likely prevent me from sleeping. But thanks for the donation, CDG.
Me her medical records on lifelong injuries that she suffered during her relationship with Ben, which I'm going to go over here. But first I want to show you what this asshole did. He went to great lengths to try.
Fine. Then take crystal meth. Problem solved. You said drugs were legal in Canada, right?
Maybe I'll try crystal meth. Sure, just a little bit of crystal meth couldn't hurt. That's gummy. He decided to be hungry at 2 in the morning, and he wouldn't stop jumping on my face until 6 in the fucking morning when I finally fed him. He does not take no for an answer. When he gets hungry, you're giving him fucking food, or he's going to be highly, highly annoying. And there he is again, looking for more food. Yeah, I need crystal meth. Thanks for the donation, CDG.
Try to hide all his history online, right? Very hard to find information on this asshole, but if you know where to look, you could definitely find things, right? But I'm going to show you here a document now on the screen. And you know what this is? This is this asshole trying to change his name to Ben Aston. And the reason why he wanted to change it was because he knew he was going online. He didn't want people looking up his information, right? So he did his best to hide it. So he filed this, a name change, with the court. But when he went to file it, the court said, fuck you. We're not allowing you to change your name because you have a warrant out for your arrest, you asshole, and we're not going to allow you to change your name. But the best part, you know how he goes around saying he's this big...
Dieting is easy, dude. Why are you so mad about doing what you want to do? You should be happy. I can recommend some good peptides to help the diet so you're not such a crazy black man. You need more water probably, or a street hooker.
I'm fine. I should probably just get more edibles. The edibles tend to...
It's because he's starting to become nutrient deficient. No matter how many plants you feed him, he will always feel hungry. Rip Gummy 2026, mark my words.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Should probably just get some more edibles. They tend to just calm me down. Thanks for the donation, CDG.
Millionaire? Well, what kind of millionaire has to go to the court and beg for a fucking refund? So why he had a warrant out for his arrest during that time, I'm working on getting the information, but he also had a restraining order on him that I can see in the system from his ex-wife, and somebody even reached out, who knows Ben, to Greg Doucette, which he put in his video showing the same information.
I'm not going to say the exact names of this, but I'm going to read some of this. And so if you need a good laugh, my blank worked for this guy before me, and he's absolutely out of his mind. He excommunicated me after blah, blah, blah. Dude, he's the funniest person on the internet, and knowing him personally makes it even funnier.
Did you like You Season 5 if you've seen it?
Is that gay fucking show? Oh yeah, that piece of shit. That is one of the worst fucking stupid dumb fuck series I've ever seen in my entire life. This guy is supposed to be playing a psychopathic serial killer, and he literally is not capable of doing it. Like, I'm sure it's not really the actor's fault. It has more to do with the writers and directors, but that is one of the worst, most horribly written shows I've ever seen in my fucking life. In no way does that guy act like somebody who has that sort of antisocial personality disorder. It's just stupid. Thanks for the donation. Human supremacy can suck my ass.
Not putting on a show, he actually believes his bullshit. He's actually got a kid in the Midwest that's like 7, and the mom won full custody of and has a restraining order against him. You can't make this stuff up.
Now, there was another woman who had a relationship with Ben who's reached out to me, and she doesn't want her identity known. So I have to be careful in what stories I can share, but I can share that she told me all this shit about Kung Fu master, underground cage fighter for the mob, all these horseshit stories is all complete bullshit. And she also told me about the abuse she suffered while she was with Ben. And some of the injuries she suffered are lifelong injuries.
Do an impression of Svaria defending King Azule.
Okay, so this guy, I think you call him King Azul or Azuli. It's a really weird name, and clearly he's mentally ill because he exercises, which is unnatural. Why would the human being ever want to actually exercise and do anything difficult? Your body naturally just wants to lay down and jerk off to porn or something. But it seems like he's not a completely mentally ill sheep because he beats up and tries to murder women. That is natural. If someone annoys you, even a little bit, you're going to want to beat them up and kill them. There you go. Thanks for the donation, nigga.
And now there was another friend who reached out to me, and I know he made a couple videos on YouTube sharing his stories with Ben, Because he's the one who punched Ben in the fucking nose when he was 13 and that bitch went crying. He didn't go and take an Uzi and try to scare him. No, he was like a bitch and just went crying about it.
I went to middle school and high school with this clown, all right? Now, from what I remember, Ben was a nobody. He didn't really have friends. Nobody liked him. He was annoying. And he was leaned up against the fence by the vending machines. And he was beatboxing and rapping. You know, at the time, I guess he wanted to be a rapper or something. He had his hood on, beatboxing. I'm with my group of friends. We had some girls around us. And I was by no means a tough guy. I was a skinny skater kid. And someone from my friend group shouted, "Shut up!" We were tired of hearing him. I mean, we didn't want to hear his garbage raps. It was horrible. It's fair enough. So he said, "Hey, who said that?" And I raised my hand and I said, "Me, I said it." So he walks over to me. So he was bigger than I was. This is before I hit puberty too. I was a little scrawny kid. He walks over to me and gets in my face. His nose was right here. I took a step back and I jabbed him in the nose. What happened next definitely surprised me. Instead of him fighting back, he just grabbed his nose and goes like this. And then there was some blood dripping out of his nose. And I thought, all right, he's gonna fight back. But no, instead of fighting back, he started crying. Full out started crying, bawling tears, and then ran towards the office.
And he also told me all these stories that he's been telling online are all a bunch of bullshit lies. He also told a sad story about that cheerleader, the 15-year-old girl that they took, advantage of and ruined her life. A very sad story because he said that this girl was just a fun-loving girl. Loved to laugh, loved to have a good time in school. And after that incident happened with Ben and his brother and the piece of shit friend, right? It changed her and she was never the same again.
And H was a very bubbly personality type girl. She was always smiling and always happy. I remember she was like one of the bubbliest people I have to this day ever met in my life. She was on the cheerleader team. She was good at cheerleading. She was just this all around bubbly personality. After this happened to H, it changed the girl, and as it would change anybody. I remember one day at school by the cafeteria, she was wearing her cheerleader's outfit, and I just saw her break down in tears, and the sadness on this girl's eyes, and her energy was just so sad. And I mean, of course, who wouldn't be? If that happened to anybody, they would feel that way. This is tough. Like, I really don't like talking about this kind of stuff, and a few staff members, they came because she was hysterically just bawling her eyes out. And they took her to the office. I believe she went to the nurse's office because she was so hysterical. And I don't really remember seeing her after that.
And I found a clip of Ben and his piece of shit brother. They were doing a podcast together, and while I was watching it, there was a part that I thought was very ironic. Was saying, when a kid is a kid and he's growing up, what they experience as kids affect them their whole life.
It's the first few years of a child's life is like when he's absorbing the most.
Right.
So then it's like, as he gets older, he has all this past trauma, and he doesn't realize like what's wrong with me. He's trying to figure out what's wrong with him.
So there's more information that's coming on this guy and the details of the things that he's been doing in his life to others. And, you know, he's taken a lot of heat online, a lot of hate. You know, you go to his social medias and they're all bombed with comments of hate. And the way he answered it and the way he addressed it is not the way to do things. You come clean as a man and admit what you've done.
Yeah, the guy's probably a narcissist. He might not be a full-blown psychopath, especially since he's clearly very fearful and insecure. But the guy's definitely got narcissistic personality disorder. Too bad these people don't just off themselves. If only.
Episode 30 of the Scaling Up podcast. Episode 30 now. It's a big one. We did what we said we were going to do.
Can't believe we got to 30 that quick.
I mean, we should have been at like 35 by now. But if we're saying we were going to do it weekly, we're pretty damn close, considering that we have too much going on, you know?
True.
Okay, we thought we were going to have a special guest, guess not. Make sure to like this video, because why not? And if you have not subscribed yet and you're watching this, then what are you even doing? And we read all super things $5 and up at the end of every episode, but I think I'm going to retire saying that going forward. Instead of that, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to join our locals for only $10 a month, where every single week Tanner boxes child predators, and you won't see content like that anywhere else. So
it's just so fun.
There's 2 boxing matches up currently. The third one will be up within the next few days, right? And yeah, I haven't had this much fun filming any sort of content in a long time.
How are they setting that up? That's really weird. So they just go around beating up child predators.
For sure.
Probably ever for me. Like, what's better than boxing?
Well, just boxing and the Stinghouse ones, getting them locked up, like the combo now. Gosh, just, every single week I'm just more.
I have a feeling this probably isn't going to end well for them. They might end up getting arrested and charged.
How bad do you miss Jasmine's love and soft kisses?
Couldn't give 2 fucks.
More and more disattached from the thought of ever doing pranks again. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Also, before we get into the main topic, Banger Catch is up now on our new catch channel, Scaling Up Catches Official. This is easily our best catch yet, so make sure to go check it out if you haven't already. And to be quite honest, we weren't planning on filming this episode today, but sometimes you just get a calling from the universe that it's time to talk about other men. And you know, for a while I was worried. I thought that we're only gonna talk about 2 men on this podcast, Wes Watson and Vitaly, to get the views.
Third new men.
Unicorn Jizz donated $2. That horse did not give 2 fucks and only cared about the snack. That's a based horse. Thanks for the donation, Unicorn Jizz.
That I don't think we've ever talked about on this podcast.
I don't think we have talked about this man on this podcast before. Sometimes there's just surprise men that you got to talk about. Yep. And this week, the man that we're going to talk about that's making headlines is none other than the Liver King. Liver King. And what Liver King did is he got arrested. He went straight to jail for traveling to Austin, Texas, where I used to live, with a gun to, quote unquote, make Joe Rogan pay. And apparently the next 2 victims that he was going to make pay after Joe Rogan were more plates, more dates, and none other than our good friend, John Bravo.
Yep. So what was his charges exactly?
Terroristic threats.
That's not a good charge. Is that a felony?
I believe that's his charge. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that's his charge. But just what a fucking glitch in the Matrix. Like, what is this? Like,
imagine Liver King killed John Bravo. First of all, it'd be terrible, like obviously, but just...
Yeah, hopefully that never happens. I'm not going to lie, though. Somebody coming after John Bravo in person is not a headline that shocks me, but who it is, of all the people, like, there's a whole list of people I would have expected.
Disparagement donated $2.
3 seconds. Stay pose.
Yeah! We did it!
How is it our team? What do you mean? You don't even know.
That's not funny. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Before the fucking Liver King. Oh shit, we got our guest.
Welcome to the show, Drew.
So, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
Well, I want to know what kind of drugs he's on. Apparently, John Bravo said he knows. I don't know if he's going to talk about it in his video, but...
Well, he said... I should have wrote all this down. I remember him saying Adderall, and I remember him saying psychedelics.
That was my guess. Would be psychedelics. Like he's taking a shitload of acid or even something stronger.
Yeah.
No, I don't watch Fillian's content. I'm not a retard. His videos are just stupid, and the guy's just complete dumbass.
You go look at his stories, he's having like a full Connor Murphy style crash out. And like the moral of this story, I would say for me, is don't fucking do drugs, especially psychedelics. Cigarettes are okay, steroids are okay. Anything that actually alters your mind, I personally like stay the fuck away from.
What do you think the cause was that started this crash out? Do you think it was started from the Netflix documentary and everybody making videos about him? And like all
dude, the Joe Rogan podcast.
Why is he threatening to fight Joe? Why does he want to fight Joe Rogan though? I get John Bravo and more plates, more dates. Does Joe Rogan talk about him too?
Because Joe Rogan had more plates, more dates on, and he was kind of clowning him.
Okay.
And he refused to have Liver King himself on. Yeah. But this was 2 years ago. So bro, this is like straight up just drugs, bro. We've seen this happen to Connor Murphy. You remember what happened to Vitaly when he took the crazy drugs? He ended up being the shit out of a random woman.
Right. And,
I mean,
police chase and all that.
Like out of all drugs, psychedelics is probably the type of drug that scares me the most because it seems like anybody who takes them over time becomes like a straight weirdo.
Yeah, abusing psychedelics is absolutely terrible. I've seen it fuck a lot of people's brains up.
And people who take them will say shit like, you really learn about yourself after you take them. Like, I mean, sometimes ignorance is bliss.
I've taken shrooms a few times and I don't regret it, but do I ever really care to do it again? No, like I've had the experience and I'm fine. Like I'm not the type of person who's gonna do it every week or microdose it or some bullshit. Like that shit can fuck you up if you abuse it, bro. Anything. You shouldn't abuse any drug. Like anything. Steroids, cigarettes, food, alcohol, anything.
Cigarettes are fine.
But you shouldn't abuse them. Like anything. You should keep in moderation. Sure. You know, try to at least.
Yeah.
I know you don't.
Why did you take psychedelics? To learn about yourself?
I mean, honestly, I feel like if you're a very strong-minded person and in a good mental state, I don't think it's a bad thing taking psychedelics once because you have a different perspective on life when you do.
What if I don't want a different perspective?
I mean, like I said, like
what if I don't want to be a weirdo? What if I just want to be myself?
Everything's not for everyone, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people respond differently to everything from food to drugs, steroids, smoking, you know, everything. Do I think everybody should smoke weed? No. This is kind of off topic, but like sometimes when I get on phone calls with like potential clients or whatever, you know, for fitness, and these people are telling me like, oh, I'm smoking weed all day, I'm depressed. I'm like, these type of people should not be smoking weed. And this is coming from someone who's been smoking since I was 13.
I mean, you're the only person I know who smokes weed who isn't a complete fucking retard.
Yeah, because I'm really good at keeping a balance on things. That's how I've always been with everything that I choose to do. Someone like Liver King should not be taking psychedelics because he's obviously not mentally strong enough to do it. Something's going on, you know what I'm saying? Like there's something fucked up with his brain.
Apparently he's also doubled down since getting out of jail. He was only in there for like a day and then he got out and he's doubling down on the crazy rants. Now he actually has a restraining order from Joe Rogan, but he's like calling him Seth Rogen to get around it. Apparently that's his way of doing that.
I only watched one video since he's been out of jail.
Well, it's not like it's fucking watchable, dude. Like
he looked sober. He looked like, what the fuck? He was like kind of like, what the fuck happened? And then now the videos he's posting now it's like he's back on drugs ranting again. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, what a fucking glitch in the Matrix, dude. Like, what is this headline? By the way, side note, he went to the same jail that I went to back in 2021, which is Travis County Jail in Austin. And if you want to know what that experience is like, basically, if you find a regular size non-walk-in closet, take everything out of it, turn a light on in there, and then lock yourself inside. That's basically Travis County Jail.
The holding cells or the actual
jail?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
And they're that small?
Yeah, and you're by yourself, like basically in solitary. Except every couple hours, I'd say every 6 hours or so, a guard opens the door and just tosses a bag of food in your face.
It's fucking terrible.
It's not the end of the world, like for Liver King, because he knew he'd be out the next day. For me, I didn't know when the fuck I would get out, even though it was only 30 hours. I remember it being fucking miserable.
30 hours, yeah. So that's like a good amount of time to spend in solitary confinement.
But dude, imagine the people who are sentenced to like just time in county, like 6 months. Imagine 6 months like that. Like you'll legit be like Liver King by the time you get out. Like you'll be fucking cuckoo.
And there's the thing called the box, like in prison too, where if you get in trouble in jail, they send you to the box, which is you're in a dark room, no lights, no windows, no shower, a bed and a toilet, and they literally only open the door to give you food 3 times a day. And
no shower.
Sometimes you only are able to, like certain prisons, you're only able to shower like once a week. That's the only time you step out. It's fucking crazy. And it's hot, no AC, like it's crazy.
Well, lucky for me, when I was in jail, the one good part was it was in the winter in Texas, so it was like 50 degrees in there. And everybody else, like when we went out to have our Zoom call with the judge in the morning, everybody came out like covered in blankets, like shivering, and I'm just like, this
enjoying
is
it. Yeah, it's nice out here.
If that went the summer, I probably would have fucking hated it.
But yeah, the prison my brother's at, there's no AC, and it's Florida. It's summertime right now, so it's bad.
Yeah. So what a fucking story, fucking Liver King.
What do you think about it?
What do I think about it? Just a fucking glitch in the Matrix. Like this is not something I would have ever expected to see, and the fact that John Bravo is involved in it too, like he partially was going after John Bravo.
So what are we gonna do if Liver King hops on a flight to Jersey? Are we going to protect John?
Well, I mean, you know where John lives. He literally has fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but he literally has like police like protecting the area he lives in. So I mean, I'm sure Joe Rogan too, wherever he lives, like he's not that easy to just.
Plus, it's fucking Joe Rogan. Like, he can fight, and I'm sure he has hella guns, and Joe Rogan's probably ready if it really came down to it.
Yeah, but
there's no way Liver King. So who do you think would win in a fight? Let's say in a street fight and in a UFC.
Yeah, I remember Liver King did like an ayahuasca retreat. Probably what fucked his brain up.
Use a BiPAP device. Joe.
delusional, mania and depression, erratic behavior, loosening of associations, or insulin, my GH, my IGF-1, my peptides, whatever, in each part of my growth hormone to quickly saying how he was insecure about his height. There was no, wow, that reminds me of when I was young and I was insecure and people made fun of my height. Give it to people just before they need to be saying straight up, this is what I'm doing.
The ancestral tenet 10, evolve.
Where's the video where he did ayahuasca? I can't remember if he was smoking it or if he got like one of those toad things.
Nature and ask for permission to embark on this journey.
I'm gonna rebirth. So
A place beyond consciousness, a place beyond the mind being at the heart.
Getting inside the womb, I only thought that would be around like 10.
Connect with these ancestral ways, and as maybe you need.
I could feel.
Not easy for other people. Rad, savage.
I don't know if that's when he did it in 2023. Yeah, I remember he did some kind of psychedelic drug. I can't remember if he got the frog venom or he was actually like smoking or like ate the ayahuasca soup stuff, but he did some kind of psychedelic drug and he just went retarded after that.
The Octagon. The UFC Octagon, obviously, Joe Rogan. In a street fight,
100% still Joe Rogan.
Probably Joe Rogan.
No doubt about it.
Liver King,
if there's no weapons involved, there's no chance Liver King's beating Joe Rogan in a fight. He doesn't have any experience at all.
Yeah, but he's a fucking psycho. Even if he gouges his eyes,
doesn't matter, bro.
Bites his
Someone
balls.
like Joe Rogan's like legit.
What if he
bro.
just bites his balls off? Does some crazy shit like that?
He's not gonna let him. Joe Rogan is a legit fighter. He's been training his whole life.
But yeah, what a fucking shit show. There's not really much else to say. We just had to get this video with the fucking title thumbnail because it would be crazy not to.
Yeah.
Like, when does this ever happen? In other news, In-N-Out sued a prankster named Brian Arnett, and I've actually seen some of his videos before. What he does is,
I don't know if I've seen him.
He goes to fast food places that are closed on like holidays or like Chick-fil-A on Sunday, and he'll start a line in the drive-thru pretending to be a fake employee, and basically like the line will just build up. And it's actually, I actually thought it was pretty funny. But he did this at In-N-Out on Easter, and they didn't find it as funny. So they sent him a cease and desist, just asking to take the video down, and he refused to do it at first. So now they're suing him. Now he took the video down.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, all for a video that probably made $50 in net revenue.
How many views did it get?
I don't know. I didn't see it before he got to it, but he doesn't get like crazy views. And to top it all off, as you can imagine, all of the reaction channels are just like straight trashing him right now.
You have to be a reaction channel. That's what they want to see.
I don't know, man. Just
do reaction channels ever talk positive about people?
I mean, Atozy, the guy who
John does sometimes, like when
no, even like Atozy, the guy who was like trashing Vitaly, he talked positive about me with the whole Wes Watson thing.
Yeah, but
a lot of them like me because I fucked with Wes Watson.
I mean, I guess it's drama. That's how it blows up, you know.
But if you think about it, just like 5 years ago, 2020, right? If this same situation happened to Nelk, they'd be seen as fucking heroes, like some sort of martyrs, somehow, and they would have sold enough merch to like cover the whole lawsuit in like a couple hours. And even like 3 years ago, remember when I had the lawsuit with the school that I'm not allowed to name?
Yeah.
If you go look at all those news hit pieces, their YouTube videos, all the comments are like straight fucking trashing them and having my back. And what I did is, I mean, it's not better or worse than what this guy did. It's like a fucking prank. Like I had no reason to go interrupt a lecture any more than he did to go do that in the drive-thru, you know. But like back then, people would like actually like the sort of
it was
content.
more respected.
Yeah, nowadays
people are getting sick of it.
Yeah, dude, pranks just ain't it, man, anymore.
I still like them. I still like watching good pranks when they're actually fucking good. Pretty rare, but like Ross's shit, people that are creative and still do good or funny shit.
Yeah.
But even then, even people like that get bashed these days.
But lawsuits aren't even at the top of the list of risks that you even think about when you're doing pranks. I would say getting arrested or getting shot is like shit that's more on their mind. Yeah, but that's still like a risk that you just forget about sometimes. And
I mean, how many times do we get threatened to be sued? It's always by people who just don't want to be on video, and we're always just like, yeah, you're not gonna fucking sue me like you're broke or whatever. But when it comes to a big company, if they threaten to sue you, they're probably serious. Like I got threatened to sue one time when I first started doing pranks.
I mean, I was sued twice by the Imaginary University,
big corporations,
which is fucking giant.
Yeah.
And
never by like an independent person ever out of everything we've ever done.
But the point is, it's always a risk. So a couple people have asked me if I'm gonna do a Liver King video with everything that's going on with him. And you already know, like 6 months ago, I would have fucking been on it. Like you already know, as soon as this news came out, that would have been my first thought. Like,
maybe
I
if
have
it
to
keeps
do a
going.
Liver King video, bro. But okay, so first of all, don't get me wrong, it would be an absolute banger video. It would be the best, most entertaining video on all of YouTube, no question about it. But say I do this video, by the time I fucking do it, the topic's gonna be dead. All the reaction channels will already have milked every little view out.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be the fucking fool who spends all month fucking with people, risking getting shot, risking getting sued, doing all this crazy shit to make the craziest banger video, then get 50K views, $200 in ad revenue after spending a month of my life on it. I mean, you tell me, does that sound appealing to you?
Yeah. Like I said, only if it like keeps escalating and continues to get something worse, then maybe we can bust out a Liver King video.
Let's say this just becomes the craziest
like
news story.
It becomes like some Wes Watson shit.
Let's say it becomes like some Wes Watson shit, even bigger than Wes Watson. Let's say the video I do, because it's just a never-ending trending topic, it gets 1 million views. Okay, I'll make $4,000 after spending a month of work. then what? Like, what do I?
It's not like you're continuing pranks after.
You know what I mean? Like, what drives me the craziest is that it took us this long to realize that pranks are a fucking dead end. Like, what the fuck were we thinking this whole time?
Yeah.
We were still in that mindset, like, oh, like Nulk 2018, the next video could just pop off and change everything.
I think a lot of people still are. Like the guy who got sued, he was probably thinking like, no, this is like 1 out of 10 video. I can't take this down. This is gonna like be the one that changes my life. But in reality,
I mean, it is gonna change his life.
Yeah, in reality, just got a lot of people hating on him and getting sued.
But yeah, I'm so glad that we're doing what we're doing now. And again, every day that goes by, I get more and more PTSD of the thought of going back to doing pranks full time. We're actually about to go for
I was really about to say.
after this. But like, you know,
just doing a favor.
Yeah, I don't mind like popping in here and there for a prank, but the thought of doing it full time, it's literally, it might be worse than a fucking 9 to 5, like a rat race.
I don't know about that. No, I don't know if I can agree with that.
Okay, but
I'll still take the 1% chance of.
No, don't get me wrong.
Getting I'd rather like doing pranks. You still could, you know, secure some like crazy brand deals. And if you like invest,
but no brand deal. No brand wants to work with you when you do pranks. Also, I do want to point out that I have court next week as a witness.
Wait, so he's keeping it the same date
for me?
Okay.
He said that you guys can show up a later date. Yeah, so I'm going to court as a witness to testify against the that we caught. And although I'm sure it's going to be boring as hell, like court always is, it's so fucking exciting to be on the other end of it. Yeah. Like not going to court as a fucking defendant for once.
It'll be boring sitting there waiting for his case, but then when his case comes, it'll be interesting. But it's going to be super quick.
It's a preliminary hearing, so yeah.
It's literally going to be, so your name is this, your charge is this, you plead guilty, not guilty? Okay, see you in a month.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it is kind of cool being on the other side of it.
Yeah, like no worry, you're just chilling.
And not there because I fucking knocked over cupcakes at Walmart. And the judge is like, why the fuck would you do that?
I have to suck up to a judge because you knocked over cupcakes so they don't send you to jail.
You're like a grown-ass man. Having to explain why you knocked over cupcakes at Walmart.
I'm so glad I'm not on probation anymore too.
Certain shit, when you realize it way later than you should.
There is a high chance of, I wouldn't say high, but there's a good chance of us eventually getting arrested for what we do now though.
I don't care. We're getting terrible people locked up. If we get arrested for it, then okay. First of all, it'll get dropped, ultimately. And secondly, like, people will have our backs. Whereas if we get arrested for fucking farting on people as 30-year-old.
The way they described this, it sounds like they're coercing pedophiles they caught into agreeing to a boxing match and getting beat up. Like, they might actually do some time for that. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it sounds like they're luring these pedophiles and then, under duress, getting them to agree to do some, like, boxing match thing. That sounds like it could be, like, related to, like, a kidnapping or torture charge. So if the wrong cop or something finds out about that crap, or if one of these people end up hiring a lawyer or something, they could actually get in serious trouble.
Old men.
Yeah, I'm just going to use this as an example to the fullest.
Yeah, by the way, this guy at In-N-Out, he was doing a lot of that weird, like he was making jokes about there being condoms in people's bags of food.
Sexual shit.
Yeah, bro, I don't understand why. Just because Vitaly has like some weird fetish for making sexual jokes. Because Vitaly started the shit, and obviously we all know there's like something mentally wrong with Vitaly.
I've been drinking C4 energy drinks.
He thinks the sexual shit is funny for some reason. I still don't think Vitaly deserves what happened to him in the Philippines, but yeah, there's obviously something mentally wrong with Vitaly, so all he can do is those sexual jokes because he doesn't have the creativity to do anything else. But since Vitaly was like the first prankster to go...
There is a high chance of, I wouldn't say high, but there's a good chance of us eventually getting arrested for what we do now though.
I don't care. We're getting terrible people locked up. If we get arrested for it, then... okay. First of all, it'll get dropped, ultimately, and secondly, like, people will have our backs.
In case you didn't know, we box spreads every single week. Head on over to scalingupcatches.locals.com and for only $10 a month, help support the cause and see content like you've never seen before. Link in pinned comments.
All right, that said, now that we've lured you in by talking about other men, and this week we kind of give you a 2-for-1 special. We have 2 men to talk about. Normally it's 1 man per show. Yeah, so now that we lured you in by talking about 2 men, now that we surprised you by talking about 2 men when we only advertised us talking about 1 man in the title thumbnail, let's talk about what we actually want to talk about now that you're here, now that we have your...
Yeah,
way, so.
Regardless.
And if we go too long without being able to catch him, we do have one final trick up our sleeve. We might have to call in the final boss.
What's up?
Alex Rosen.
Oh yeah. Oh true.
Dude, I've been wanting to do that. I've been wanting to do that. Like when we get that's just
too slippery,
a little too out of our league, I guess. Like we're not experienced enough to deal with it yet. We just summon the final boss. Summon the final boss. But yeah, we are also going to do more Sting House catches this upcoming week, and both a cop and a detective have already basically given us the green light to detain these guys if they try
to
to
a certain
run.
point.
Right.
Like, we got to be careful.
The only thing I'd be worried about so far, we have a pretty good relationship with this police department. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about like if it gets too out of hand, like posting that video on YouTube. So if it just became like super violent or something, like we would just post that part on locals, but post the still put the rest of the video without that clip on YouTube. Yeah. But the point point is no more runners going forward. If they try to run, we're detaining these motherfuckers. Like I just got police grade handcuffs.
In Alhambra, at least. We don't really know about other counties.
Yeah, we got the green light. No more fucking runners. So that makes it a little more exciting than it already is. Like I fucking love this shit, bro.
Now we don't have to say you're free to leave. We'd be like, no, sit the fuck down. You're not going anywhere.
You're not free to leave. Like I want to say that. You are not free to leave. The one not fun part right now that I gotta point out, since I'm doing all the decoy work, when I text like a 14-year-old girl, I basically just make myself sound like a fucking retard. Like I purposely misspell every word. I stopped using apostrophes. I purposely use the wrong you're and you're, there, and there. Purposely mess those up. And you know my grammar is normally like fucking impeccable. Yeah. So the only thing that pisses me off now is my phone fucking autocorrects my shit when I try to type normally. Like now it tries to change it to the retarded spelling. Yeah. So when I'm trying to like do captions for the videos.
Wait, what happened to the trap phone? You don't use the trap phone?
You need like a fucking PhD to figure that shit out. Really? It's fucking complicated. So maybe when the final boss is in town, I'll ask him how to set that shit up.
I still have mine set.
I can't figure it out. You really don't even need yours if you're not decoying. I mean, I guess Jeanette should have one. Yeah.
Do you think you could handle meth psychosis? I don't know. Never done meth.
Sometimes I wonder though, do I need to fuck the grammar up so bad? Because most people's grammar is so bad they probably can't even tell.
I don't think you have to fuck it up that bad, but like slang is good, like the year, like do like you are or something. Yeah. But I mean, there's autocorrect these days, which usually corrects people's grammar.
I have mine autocorrecting it to like fuck it up now. Last thing too, Dora Facts, our biggest fan from India.
Where are you?
This has been fucking missing. And we can say this at the end of the video because if anybody would watch until the end, it's fucking Dora Facts. But yeah, our biggest fan from India who normally comments on like everything we do, posts like these banger fucking edits of us on Instagram, deleted his Instagram and nobody's been able to contact him.
How long ago?
I noticed it like a couple weeks ago, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. So Dora Facts, where you at? Hopefully you're watching, drop a comment, let us know you're
Ebony Gandalf, Tony Tillers, do you watch Avatar? No.
The Fire Nation has a right to defend.
Liberal Tears.
Are you happy?
Don't care. Thanks for the donation. Somebody make this for me.
Fuck his rail.
That's great. I'll sub to this guy's channel. That looks like some good shit. Bootycom, $22, AIDS.
You are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't. Rudy Giuliani. Rudy, great to have you back on Uncensored.
Fuzz, $22. What would you do if someone did this to you and you had a close call?
No way! No!
Well, first of all, this biker is fucking stupid and doesn't know how to drive. If I saw somebody switching lanes like that, I'd just slow down and not try to pass them. I don't know why the hell this guy kept driving when he knows the guy doesn't see him and he's an idiot. You can even see it. He slowed down. And then he thought, oh, the guy sees me or something and he's not going to switch lanes, and he just speeds up anyway. So, like, the car didn't signal, but the biker saw the guy changing. He could have just stopped. So, ultimately, it's the biker's fault that he got into an accident. You know, this biker's just stupid. Yeah, I wouldn't be a dumbass and deliberately just run into a fucking car like a retard. Thanks for the donation, Fuzz.
Good to see you, Pierce. Your reaction to this character who's come out of nowhere, and now the whole of America is talking about him. What's your response to Mamdani Mayhem?
A total shock. Something I never thought I would see in New York. New York has always been a little bit more inclined to be reasonable when necessary. I mean, we're the only one of these crooked democratic cities that at any time in the last 60 or 70 years has elected a Republican. Chicago.
What do you think is a good cruiser motorcycle if not Harley? Any bike from any brand. I don't know what type of cruiser you're looking for, but Kawasaki Vulcan is a really good one. I think they have a 1600cc version. I think it's 1600. No, 1700. You can get a 1700 Vulcan. It's probably the best one, at least for that size. You can get smaller ones. They have the... What is it? They have a 900 and they have the Vulcan S. I used to have this bike. It's pretty small and it's not great for highway riding. I think Suzuki has at least one. They have that weird one. Yeah. What do they call it again? Yeah, the M109. And the Boulevards are pretty decent. Honda has the Shadow. The Honda Shadow is an extremely good bike. It's not, it's not a huge displacement. I think it's like 750 or something. But that's a very good, reliable bike. Yeah, 745cc. I think it's like 70 horsepower or something. It's, you know, plenty for highway riding. It's not a performance machine. Technically, the Rebel isn't really a cruiser. I think it's more of a standard, but the Rebel 1100 is a good bike. It's smaller though, so if you're a smaller person, you might like the 1100.
Go 70 years at Democrats, Detroit. I mean, you've had me, LaGuardia, Bloomberg. They don't have anything like that. No reform, nothing. So plus we're the biggest Jewish city. For a while, we were the biggest Jewish city in the world. I think Tel Aviv has now passed us. So this is a shock to me that somebody like this would come along. And it isn't even just the anti-Semitism and the anti-Jewish hate. We've almost gotten used to it in the streets of New York now over the last 2 to 3 years. This guy is a major supporter of Hamas. This is a terrorist group that wants to destroy not just Israel. They want to destroy America. Their children are taught from about 2 years old, death to Israel, death to America.
Really, where has he expressed any support for Hamas? Because I haven't seen that.
Oh my goodness! I mean, he was by and large he wouldn't condemn what they did when they wiped out the Israeli people. He has refused to condemn them. He refuses to acknowledge they're a terrorist group. Every time he's asked, he just kind of punts on the question. He has very strong statements that sound a lot like Hamas, Intifada forever, Intifada all over the world. And then he tries to claim that he has his own definition of Intifada. You know, sorry, Zoran, you're not entitled to your own definition of Intifada. They've killed about 8,000 people. That kind of sets a definition for it. We know what you're talking about. So I think you could put together a case that he supports an internationally acknowledged terrorist group that is a close ally of Iran. I mean, remember, although one is Sunni and the other is Shia, and they hate each other, Iran and Hamas, they join on two things: destroy Israel, destroy America. Death to America, death to Israel. That's what brings Iran and Hamas together.
But really, why if you believe he's so, the way you've just categorized, why are so many New Yorkers in a city, as you said, which has more Jews outside of Israel than any city in the world, why would they have rallied behind this guy if he's such an enemy of Jewish people?
Well, Pierce, that's a very good question. It leads me to what's wrong with the people of my city. What's wrong with the people of Chicago? I mean, they had a mayoral primary a couple of years ago, and they picked the most outrageous, the most radical, and the dumbest candidate for mayor, who's now a complete disaster. And they've been doing it for 65 years, even though they're a shooting gallery every Saturday night. There's a brainwashing that has taken place in these old Democrat cities. It's the same reason why you'll go into some districts in New York and Biden got 95% of the vote. How could that have happened if the people are thinking, how do we elect de Blasio? De Blasio went to Cuba on his honeymoon. He was in favor of the Sandinistas, and his mother was a member of the Communist Party at Harvard. And then after his first term, he was a complete failure. We had a 22% turnout, and we reelected him. And he's the one who really destroyed the city. I mean, literally took everything Bloomberg and I did and trashed it. I get people that come up to me on the street crying and saying to me, "You must feel awful. Everything you did was ruined."
But when you have a Muslim candidate in a city like New York, and people start evoking 9/11, start putting burqas on the Statue of Liberty and all the stuff I played earlier, does that not make you feel uncomfortable? New York is one of the most inclusive cities in the world, right? A place normally that's very tolerant to many different religions, many different colors and creeds, right? Surely you would feel uncomfortable as the mayor of New York.
It's a left-wing city, and all the lefties have completely and utterly lost their mind, and they've become fucking communists who are in support of fascist fucking Muslim regimes. So what do you expect?
When that appalling terror attack happened, are you comfortable that people use 9/11 as a stick to beat him with?
Nobody's doing that, Pierce.
Well,
I was the people who protected the Muslim people after 9/11. People expected a tremendous amount of reaction against them. And Bernie Kerik and I put together a task force for 4 weeks, and there was no attack in New York, not a single one, even though you might have expected one, given the kind of emotion involved. And one of the first things I said, as I was telling my people to please be careful and watch out, it might be another attack, is do not touch anybody. We're not going to be like them. We don't hate Muslim people. We hate the people who did this. And we have to.
Yeah, it's hot here. I prefer it to be hot than cold. The cold just sucks.
And we have to make it clear to them that we can stand up to them. But then again, I'm not a fool. I know there are a substantial number of Muslims, and there's a substantial amount of the Quran that talks about slaughtering Christians and Jews. And there's a whole group of Muslims who believe that. And unfortunately, an undetermined number of them got into this country in the last 4 years, unlike any other time in our history, because of our pathetic President Biden, who also gave Iran hundreds of millions of dollars, and Obama did it in cash.
So would you have a problem, Rudy? Would you have a problem with a Muslim mayor of New York? Tax day has passed, but for millions of Americans, that's where the trouble begins. The IRS is now ramping up in form.
But not if he told me he would write out the portion of the Quran where Muhammad is exhorting the people to kill Christians and Jews and telling them if he doesn't kill them, they should get tribute from them. If he's like some of the imams that I'm close to who can write that out and can say that, I'd be very comfortable with him. If he's dominated by that sick pathological philosophy, which dominates not all Muslims, but more than a comfortable amount, given all the killing they've done, then I have a real problem with it. And he doesn't sound like a moderate Muslim. He sounds like a Muslim extremist.
You said, Rudy, that you think that
He's clearly a jihadist. I can guarantee you either his parents or some of the Muslim community that he hung out with, they've like groomed him to be this like, you know, covert jihadist, like some of those imams talk about where, oh, run for president, you know, and then enact Sharia law when they least expect it, you know, that sort of shit.
there may need to be an investigation to see if Mamdani is an enemy of America. Is that the kind of language that is sensible? You said, Mr. Benny Johnson.
I didn't mean an investigation criminal. I meant for the purpose of voting. You and I should do the investigation as voters.
Do you really see him as an enemy of America?
Do I see him as an enemy of America?
Yeah.
What he's saying? My personal.
Yes.
You're damn right I do. I think he's going to destroy New York City. I think this is a disaster time for New York City. This guy becomes mayor, the city is gone. People are leaving the city already. You can't say things like the things he's saying and not frighten the hell out of people. I mean, it has nothing to do with even 9/11. Had 9/11 not happened, he'd be an enemy of the city. He's espousing a philosophy that wants to destroy America, wants to destroy the Jewish people, wants to destroy the Christian people. I really would like to destroy all the Muslims who disagree with him. And he is a very strong.
Yep. Gotta agree with Rudy Giuliani here. Even though he went crazy after Trump became president, he's totally right about this.
Strong supporter of that, and he doesn't make a distinction. And he becomes very cute and stupid and silly. Plus, he's totally unqualified. He's a 33-year-old do-nothing from a rich family who's never accomplished a damn thing in his life. Whenever we've gotten a mayor like that, he's been a terrible failure, like de Blasio. This guy's not an accomplished man. He's a rich kid who has learned excessive, crazy philosophy so that he can sound smart, I think. That's the best explanation I can give him. It might be worse.
Rudy Giuliani, always good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thanks, Piers. Good to see you. You look great.
Thank you. So do you. Let's debate this now with Cenk, Geraldo, and Lindy. Well, Cenk, you were putting a lot of faces there. What did you make of what Rudy Giuliani said?
Yeah, your audience should ignore everything Rudy Giuliani just said. Everything was a lie. Mamdani's never supported Hamas, never said the word intifada, doesn't hate Jews or Christians. Muslims don't have to write out parts of the Quran. It would be absurd to say, hey, if you're a Jew running for mayor, you've now got to write out parts of the Torah or the Talmud. Otherwise, we don't accept Jews.
Like, that is just so retarded. There's practically zero Jews across the entire planet Earth who take the Torah literally. Just like Christianity, Judaism underwent reforms a long, long time ago. You're not going to find any Christians today that support slavery or Jews, for that matter, who support slavery or killing women if they have sex outside of marriage, or, you know, committing tribal genocide because they're commanded to by God. But you will find Muslims who believe that, many of them. Very likely the majority across the planet support jihad. It's just that a lot of them are too afraid to actually commit it.
If you said you're a Christian running, but you've got to cancel out parts of the Bible, otherwise we won't let Christians run. It would be deeply bigoted, and that's what Rudy Giuliani was. Bigoted nonsense, total trash. You ignore every lie he just said. Now, let's talk about, look, there's three different types of people going against Mamdani. There's the economic criticism, which is interesting, legitimate, and debate-worthy. Then there's the people who are opposed to him because he won't bow his head to Israel. And that's Rudy. And that's almost everyone in Democratic establishment and the Republican establishment. So those folks say, no, that's it. This guy won't bow. If he won't bow to Israel, if he's New York first, unacceptable. He has to be Israel first. And that's absurd. And they're deeply racist and they're bigots. And
You know, it's funny how he'll bow down to Hamas, but then he'll criticize people for, you know, quote unquote, bowing down to Israel. Like, these people are just pieces of shit. I'd rather vote for somebody who's loyal to Israel than loyal to Hamas or Iran or something.
I can't stand it. So there's other critiques of Mamdani we can get into, but in terms of this whole attack against him being Muslim and him not kissing Israel's ass is totally not relevant to New York and is only an argument made by bigots. So I hope I've been clear enough.
I think you've made your position very clear. Geraldo, welcome back.
Well, I think several things. Nice to see you, Piers and panel. I think, first of all, he has used the expression intifada. He wants to globalize the intifada, and he speaks about it quite often. Let me finish. Secondly, I agree with you.
Like, by the way, Zoran Mandani, he clearly plays dumb. The guy fucking said, some random interviewed him. He said, "Oh, I don't know what jihad is." He asked him to like condemn the idea of jihad in Islam and asked him if he's a jihadist. And he refused to even answer, and he just played dumb and said, "What's jihad?"
I want to ask you about an issue that has divided some New Yorkers in recent weeks. You were recently asked about the term globalize the intifada, if it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence against Jews. There's been a lot of attention on this issue. So I want to give you an opportunity to respond here and now. Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the intifada?
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights. And ultimately, that's what is the foundation.
He's a jihadist. He's just lying. He doesn't believe in universal human rights.
Of so much of my politics, the belief that freedom and justice and safety are things that to have meaning have to be applied to all people, and that includes Israelis and Palestinians alike.
But do you actually condemn it? I think that's the question.
Again, what's bizarre is Israel gives everyone equal human rights. It's Palestinians that don't give people equal human rights.
And the outstanding issue that a number of people, both of the Jewish faith and beyond, have. Do you condemn that phase, globalize the intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns with me, especially in light of the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado, about this moment of anti-Semitism in our country and in our city. And I've heard those fears and I've had those conversations, and ultimately they are part and parcel of why in my campaign I've put forward a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800%. I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech in the manner especially of that of Donald Trump, who has put one New Yorker in jail who's just returned to his family.
Do you think he'd say the same thing if he was mayor during 9/11 and people were saying deport all Muslims, or like now a big thing is like normalize Indian hate, or like, do you think he'd be saying the same thing if it were like his community getting attacked? There are a bunch of people going around saying like, oh, globalize Muslim hatred or like kill all Muslims. Yeah, he wouldn't be saying anything fucking close to this.
Mahmoud Khalil for that very supposed crime of speech. Ultimately, what I think I need to show is the ability to not only talk about something, but to tackle it and to make clear that there's no room for anti-Semitism in this city. And we have to root out that bigotry, and ultimately we do that through the actions, and that is the mayor I will be.
Yeah, but you won't condemn the phrase globalize Antifada, which means kill all Jews worldwide.
One that protects Jewish New Yorkers and lives up to that commitment through the work that I do.
But quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing an op-ed.
What a ridiculous claim. So this guy is saying, if I condemn some form of hate speech, calling for violence and death on a group of people, that's no different than actually banning certain forms of language. So him saying, I condemn somebody saying this, that's no different than him, like, literally signing into law, this word or these phrases are forbidden and I'm going to lock you in jail for saying it. Like, if people were going around saying, kill all N-words, and somebody asked him, do you condemn this person for saying kill all N-words? Like, do you think he'd say, well, I'm not going to condemn them saying that, because I think that's walking down the line of like the Republicans and Donald Trump who are trying to like police language. So do you think if he was asked if like there was a right-wing hate group that said kill all black people, kill all Muslims, I'm not going to condemn that. No, he'd condemn it. So this guy knows exactly what he's doing. He's playing both sides right now. He's trying to make it seem as though he's not an anti-Semite, but he'll protect and defend the anti-Semites and say, oh, well, I'm not going to condemn them, for saying they want to kill all Jews. But I support the Jewish community. But no, I'm not going to condemn anyone for saying I want to kill all Jews. So, yeah, this guy is just a anti-Semite piece of shit.
I agree with you. Please, it's not. It's on the record. Just look it up. The second thing is that
exactly.
the whole notion of moving the tax burden in New York from the richer, whiter neighborhoods to the richer, whiter neighborhoods, as if the richer, whiter neighborhoods don't pay enough in tax. We've had enormous flight of the people who do pay tax to the suburbs and to other states, and all we have to do is increase the real estate tax, even more under his proposal. And you'll have no taxable base. You'll have no rich white people to pay the tax. The third thing, and curiously, I agree in a twisted way about the situation with the Palestinians. I believe that what you saw, and this is the
with property tax in particular, there's absolutely flight out of certain states because of like ridiculous amounts of property tax. We've already seen that in California. Property taxes are through the fucking roof, and there's an enormous amount of flight out of California because of that. So him claiming he's going to arbitrarily raise property taxes on white neighborhoods, like that's his words. He's going to target white neighborhoods and raise their property tax arbitrarily, even though there's no need to raise property taxes in those areas. So, yeah, if they have to pay stupid amounts of money for property tax when they could just move somewhere else that's just as good, if not better, and then they could save, like tens of thousands of dollars each year, yeah, they're going to move.
Underreported headline, I believe, is that you saw a cataclysmic shift in the Jewish vote. It was a generational shift. Older Jews in the neighborhoods that were 100% Jews, like the Hasidic neighborhoods and others, they went with Governor Cuomo in the Democratic primary just passed. The people who voted against Cuomo and for Mamdani were the young Jewish voters who are activists, who are in the hundreds of thousands in New York. They are, half of that generation in the city of New York. They are part of the lifeblood of the city. They rejected their parents' Israel always and forever, no matter what kind of view, and they are sick to death of what's happening in Gaza. They can't stand to see Israel continue to wage this very, very unfair, violent campaign against civilians in Gaza. Now, you're not talking about Iran, you're not talking about Syria or Hezbollah or the big picture, but you're talking specifically about what's going on in Gaza. It has sickened. I know I have kids in New York. Two of my children live in New York. Two now, I just hesitate because one just moved, but two live in New York. They vote in New York. I voted for Giuliani. I voted for Bloomberg. But to see these kids are rejecting their parents, Israel always and forever, no matter what, and saying, wait a second, Israel has to be held to the same standard as any other nation. We're not going to let you push us. And we are voting, and they rejected the Democratic establishment candidate and the old school ways, and they embrace something much more energetic and humane and compassionate, I believe.
Yeah, and I think also I would add to that, Cuomo is hardly a clean whistle when it comes to candidates. There's a lot of baggage there, which people have probably not forgotten, and memories live long. Lindy, you were listening to that quite intently. I mean, it's a really interesting political story, isn't it? That this guy Mamdani's come out of nowhere, and he's basically taking down one of the most experienced politicians in the country, in Andrew Cuomo. It's not over yet, but it's looking pretty perilous for Cuomo. You were part of the Democratic machine. What do you put this down to?
It is pretty much over because Cuomo won't quit. So Cuomo and Eric Adams are both running. So what do you think is going to happen? They're going to split the opposition vote to Mamdani. So chances are he's going to be the next mayor. And Cenk, I just want to say my opposition to him has nothing at all to do with Israel or his faith. It's nothing. It's to do with his Marxist ideology. And I have to say, I feel sick to my stomach because of it. I was born in an authoritarian communist regime that murdered my great grandfather in cold blood. So anything that reeks of communism just sends shivers down my spine. And every one of his proposals, from taxing wider neighborhoods to government-run groceries to free buses, all of these policies will end up hurting the very people he purports to want to help. And Pierce, you brought up a really good question when you were speaking with Rudy. You asked him why so many New Yorkers voted for this guy.
Yeah.
But let me put it into perspective for everybody. Only 5% of New Yorkers did. Most people didn't even bother showing up. So 5% of one of the biggest cities in the world is actually not a significant amount at all. It's kind of it's just really unrepresentative of where the city is.
Many of us carry around bulky, worn-out wallets that are uncomfortable and full of junk. Like, not least of everything to the Democrats themselves, who must be thinking, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah, and the Democratic Party is completely broken. We've tread this ground so many times. They're a vestige of a past. But I want to say that this isn't so much a vindication or endorsement of Mondani as a flat-out rejection of Andrew Cuomo and everything he represents.
Okay.
Everyone from left to right sees him as a deeply corrupt individual who should never be anywhere near public office again.
Okay, well, listening to all this, I'd like to say Rudy Giuliani's been listening and actually didn't really want to leave us, so we've got Rudy back. Rudy, welcome back. So just to clarify what a few of the panelists...
By the way, you and I have exchanged a lot of mean tweets. I want to apologize. I don't know. You blocked me. I think you were very angry. I just want to take this opportunity to extend an olive branch.
Wow. Okay, Rudy.
Well, I'm not aware of them. I wonder if they were as excessive as the original attack on me by I thought my friend there. Highly personal and really nasty.
Oh, it wasn't as bad as Chicks, but yeah.
But in any event, I mean, he's actually quoted. I have it here at 2 different events using the word "globalize the Intifada." Your candidate, Zoran, and then he weasels out of it by. I mean, just go look at it as you were just told. I mean, try something like
Rudy, you're missing the distinction. He doesn't say it, but he also doesn't condemn it.
He defends it. Is that a lot better? Just yesterday on Meet the Press, when he was speaking with Kristen Welker, he defended the phrase again. Come on, it looks really bad. It's not something you should say.
He doesn't use it. There's a difference.
The key point is he doesn't condemn it, is the point, right? So he doesn't condemn it, which actually, in the modern climate, for a New York City potential mayor not to condemn a phrase like globalizing the is a pretty big deal.
It's terrible. It's
damning.
Well,
the reality is he tries to redefine the Intifada as his own definition of the Intifada. It's not violent.
No, haven't seen the conversation with Gary Yourofsky and Paul Bashir yet. Yeah, dude, like, this is just so stupid. If somebody were to ask him, like, do you condemn Nazism? And then he said, oh, I don't condemn it. I don't want to police speech, and I have my own definition of Nazism. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Well, don't tell that.
Not sure how accurate this is. But this post is claiming that Cuomo's majority votes are from the working class in the and Mondani votes were middle and upper and white based.
Well, yeah, no shit. It's all spoiled, rich college kids that are voting for him. And, he's a communist. So all these communists are just rich kids who are, overly privileged and think they should just get things for free. And part of the idea with, like, this whole communist movement, too, in the US is these people aren't concerned with the impoverished. They're concerned that there's people who make more money than them. So they're already quite wealthy, but they're annoyed that there are people who are wealthier than them, so they want their wealth taken away. They want them to be taxed more so that they can, like, feel better that, you know, no one else is making more than them. But yeah, Mamdani's a piece of shit, and only pieces of shit would vote for him. Thanks for the donation, Will Mage.
Do you think her husband killed her? No way internet bullying killed her. If that was the case, you'd be dead. x.com/fluffstuff6/status/193.
Hi everyone. I just want to start this video out by saying parental advisory. This is not a video for children. And a trigger warning. Some of the things you're about to hear are going to be triggering for some people. I don't have approval from the board to make this video, but I have to say what needs to be said. I have to. This is a video to build the strongest bonds. She had so that's filled with darkness.
I have no idea. No clue. Unrelated video.
Dostoevsky could be considered your favorite philosopher's favorite philosopher. His deep and profound novels are packed full of philosophical insights ranging from existentialism to theology that have influenced thinkers since. But this hard-to-read Russian writer is also just as relevant nowadays as before, as his work offers us a glimpse into how one could find purpose in their lives, especially in contemporary society. The amount of choice and the busyness of freedom can make it quite challenging in terms of understanding what we are to do in our lives. It is in this department where Dostoevsky can help us most. To first understand Dostoevsky's philosophy and his own idea of how we may find purpose, we need to get one thing clear. He talked about suffering a lot. Specifically, Dostoevsky's work centers around human suffering, spiritual renewal, and the theme of redemption. For example, in his book Crime and Punishment, he introduces us to the fame-seeking Raskolnikov, who murdered somebody in order to gain infamy and attention. However, Raskolnikov did not think this through far enough, as he cannot actually admit his crime lest he risks jail time. The novel largely explores the suffering inherent in guilt and searching for a purpose or some sort of legacy.
Soul Child donated $2. Bro, you need to just quit character attacking Mondani just because he doesn't appease to Zionists. Yes, anti-Semitism is real and he acknowledges it. And I don't care, thanks. You're a fucking idiot.
Throughout the book, Raskolnikov grapples with his existential despair and moral guilt after committing such a horrific crime. Through his inner turmoil and eventual redemption, Dostoevsky confronts fundamental questions about morality and conscience. While the beginning portrays Raskolnikov as a rational and intelligent actor, he is inevitably confronted by the irrationality of it all, including his own actions. On the topic of murder and guilt, Dostoevsky's philosophy regularly rubs up against the darkest aspects of the human condition and how such traits can expose us to existential.
Yeah, this is gay and boring.
To the thousands of people that have been killed. I used to go to Israel in the late 90s and the early 2000s when Olmert was mayor. I've been in hospitals seeing girls whose faces were ripped apart by Hamas. There was an intifada. There were two of them. It killed thousands of people, and it has no other definition. And the guy's playing a sick communist game of doublespeak.
And Cenk, let me bring Cenk. I want to bring Cenk back in. Hang on.
He's a total empty suit.
Let me bring Cenk back in, because another problem Mandani may have as this goes on is he's on record as saying,
sometimes I get really bad insomnia and get only a couple hours of sleep last night. Should I do weight training on very little sleep and just push through it? This is by far what is interfering with me training on a consistent basis.
You gave me a link to YouTube.
Metal substance.
Ugh. It really depends. I don't know to what extent you have sleep issues. Like, it's better to exercise than not exercise, but if you're experiencing really, really severe insomnia, I don't know. I also don't know when you're deciding to train. You shouldn't train right before you're trying to sleep. That's going to interfere with sleep. And if you're doing an extreme amount of exercise, even if it's like in the morning, that can also interfere with sleep. If you're constantly stressed and you're always stimulating your nervous system, then you're gonna like kind of stay in the fight or flight mode and you're not gonna be able to sleep. So I don't know what's causing your sleep issues. It's not really a yes or no sort of answer. Thanks for the donation though, Jessica.
Enzyme where you're lowering estradiols conversion from, say, testosterone. You could have activation of an androgen response element by some of these metabolites or the parent compound that makes the estrogen receptor less functional. So now we're creating SERM-like qualities to these drugs as opposed to aromatase inhibiting.
So if I'm understanding your inference, if this didn't have the methyl group at position 1, if it had a methyl group at position 2 like Masteron, instead of having a double bond right here, we had a double bond right here, it would look more like Anadrol.
That he wants to defund the police. He's tried to distance himself from that, but he said it. He insisted that queer liberation means defund the police. I mean, again, the idea that somebody, maybe the mayor of New York, would actually have that as a quote on their record is pretty extraordinary. Is he going to be able to shake off these quotes like that, which to many New Yorkers would be complete anathema? I mean, Rudy, when he was mayor of New York, famously the broken windows strategy of fixing the small stuff and police everywhere and empowering them and resourcing them and so on. And now you've got a guy who wants to defund the police.
He also accuses them of being racist.
So
he also accuses them of being racist when they are a non-majority police department. There's nothing racist about the New York City Police Department. The last time de Blasio did that, he got 2 cops killed, and that's what led to their turning their back on him. There was a riot in Baltimore, and de Blasio, like this other crazy communist, went out and said, "Oh, New York is racist too." And a guy came up from Baltimore and he shot 2 detectives, assassinated them 4 days later, and that's why the cops turned their backs on that guy.
All right, check.
These people are dangerous and they get people killed, and you know who gets killed? The black people get killed. As a result. Yes, no? You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
That's all talking about. Cenk, you go.
Okay, so a bunch of misnomers there. First of all, it was the highest voter turnout in a Democratic primary in a long time. I was part of the AOC campaign. We were counting on low voter turnout. Not in this case. The tide has changed. The younger people, like Geraldo said, are voting for change, and middle class is voting for change. So you guys play word games. But now to the main question that Piers was asking. Look, there's some of his policies that I don't agree with. I don't agree with defund the police. I wouldn't have had government-run grocery stores at the top of my list. I just wouldn't have, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I just wouldn't have prioritized it. So free buses, that's super interesting. I want to see how it works. These are not my policies, but the Democrats in New York elected him. And so let's let him give it a shot, right? So in terms of, defunding the police, again, let's be careful. And he is.
Free buses. Like, how in the fuck is that going to work? Where does the money come from? Like, this guy is just a complete fucking clown. He's going to end up, like, bankrupting the city, destroying small businesses, and increasing crime. Like, they're going to get what they asked for and more, dude. They're just delusional fucktards.
Careful. He at least says it the right way. I don't like the phrase at all, but what he's talking about is moving some portion of the money towards social services. So, okay, you can say, I don't want to try that. That's fine. You've got a general election coming up, but a lot of his economic policies are for change. That's the third issue that I mentioned, Piers, in the beginning. And so
yeah, I've been
overall,
taking DHA.
I'm for change. I'm against the establishment. So if this brother wants to try the grocery stores, he wants to try free buses, etc., let him take a shot at it. We've already seen what the establishment has to offer, and it's nothing but pulp. It's driven this country into the ground. I don't want another Cuomo. I don't want another Adams. I want change.
Let me just, I want to ask Geraldo actually first, then come to you, Lindy, because it's interesting actually that what Cenk just said, because the conservative writer Rod Dreher likened Mamdani's win to Trump's. He said New York left-wing voters, quotes, lashed out against what they regard as a failed liberal establishment, electing a charismatic populist who promised a clear break with the past. We on the right can shake our heads and laugh at how dumb New York liberals and progressives were to choose a candidate as politically inexperienced and radical as Mamdani, but don't miss that this was also a referendum on the Democratic Party itself. And, I do remember, Geraldo, when in 2015 Donald Trump came down the famous, elevator saying, I'm going to run for president, everyone mocking and laughing and saying he's got no experience, is a ridiculous candidate, quoting all sorts of incendiary things he'd said before, blah, 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 and he won. And he's now won again. So is it mad for the Democrats to actually go for a young, kind of their version of Trump?
I think will, in New York at least, mostly be affected by people's wallets, by people's pocketbooks. There is no way that the middle class, the upper middle class, the strivers, the hard workers, the college-educated business creators, there's no way that they're going to tolerate more tax, more income tax. And to think that you're going to have free transit and free food and free housing, free everything. There's no such thing as a free lunch. My goodness, haven't we learned? There's no way to have socialism in a city that needs that needs the vibrancy of Wall Street to create the jobs. It's not just the brokers it's the grocery guy on the corner of Wall Street. It's the Uber driver, et cetera, et cetera. If you take the tax base of New York and attack it anymore, it will be a failed city like so many others. And it's the last thing. We have to embrace the police. We have to embrace the job creators. We have to try to lower taxes in the richer, whiter neighborhoods so they don't go to Scarsdale and to other communities, upscale communities that don't tax nearly as much. And in terms of the cops, my goodness, I voted for Giuliani and Bloomberg before him, and the change in the city over those 5 terms was extraordinary. It was a functioning, workable, integrated city where the goals and the dreams of socialists were realized with the fruits of capitalism. So I think that this kid is way off the mark, but I also believe that if all these people run on independent lines, as promised now, Eric Adams, Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Sliwa, he could win. You could have the first young Muslim, mayor of the biggest Jewish city in North America. It could happen, and it could happen particularly if the sore of Gaza continues to deep.
Yeah, I think you're right, Lindy.
By the way, wouldn't that be beautiful, guys?
Well, actually, it would be an amazing thing. It would be an amazing thing, and I actually thought Jake, that the way Geraldo framed it earlier, that hundreds of young Jewish people, male and female, who actually do not share the view that you just of their parents and grandparents, that you have to have just blind, devoted loyalty to Israel, particularly if its government is behaving in the way that it's currently behaving in Gaza.
And they voted for a Muslim mayor. And isn't that a beautiful thing about America? I mean, isn't that a beautiful thing about America, that we don't care about religion, that young Jewish voters and young Christian and Muslim voters can vote for a Muslim candidate because they believe in his economic message and his message of justice? That's what America's supposed to be all about, that we forget about this race and religion stuff and vote on the substance.
You talk about him implementing change, but all of his promises are lies. I mean, we can go through and debunk every single one. For example, he says he wants to offer free buses, but guess what's going to happen then? If you don't charge anything for buses, there's no funding for transportation coming in. So how are you going to maintain your infrastructure fleet? And if you control rent, the supply of housing is going to decrease and the quality will decrease as well. And most importantly, though, who's going to pay for it? When the governor of New York herself, Kathy Hochul, vowed that she would not be raising taxes. So every single thing he said was actually a lie. Either he knew it or he doesn't. I don't know which is better. Is it deception
or not a lie?
Well, I just told you, I gave you 3 examples of things that could just not happen because the governor is not raising taxes. He can't operate in a vacuum. Okay, not everyone is a communist. You have to partner with other people in the government and collaborate. It's a whole of government approach.
So,
it's not
Lindy,
a microcosm.
You're saying you disagree with his approach, but to say that it's a lie doesn't make sense. No, he really does want free buses, and he has a plan for free buses. Now, you can say, hey, I don't think that plan is going to work, and I think it's...
I'm going to run for president, and I'm going to tell everybody I'm going to make video games free. You know how, like, the new PS5 and Xbox is going to be, like, $600? If you vote for me, it's all going to be free! Like, it's just stupid. Oh, man, it's just pure clown mode. Why, like, only fucking dumbass, ignorant college kids would vote for this fucktard. Like...
it's going to have negative consequences. Well, good news. Let's hope we're about to find out, okay?
Well,
and maybe you're wrong. Maybe the free buses totally work out. And in fact, there are different ways to finance it.
I think he went into the campaign knowing that he was offering false promises to the New York people. Another thing that I find extremely alarming is saying that he said his ultimate goal is to seize the means of production. That is something straight out of Animal Farm right there. It has no place in the United States of America.
Yeah.
He certainly has. He's got a lot of quotes on his track record. I want to pivot just before we finish this. Rudy, I want to talk to you about Donald Trump, because you could argue the last 2 or 3 weeks have been the best, really, of his entire time as president, first and second term combined. You've got this extraordinary strike on Iran's nuclear capabilities and a ceasefire coming when people did not anticipate that happening so quickly. He's got NATO to stump up to 5% of GDP on individual spending. A massive win at the Supreme Court, of course. Peace deal in Africa. He brought peace between India and Pakistan when that was flaring up. He's moving hard to try and get peace in Gaza. He's moving hard to try and get peace in Ukraine. If we end up at the end of the year and there is peace in Ukraine, there is peace in Gaza, and all the other things I've mentioned here, not to mention the southern border has pretty much stopped now having anyone coming over illegally, and the economy, if that is purring away as well, given that the stock market is pretty much back where it was before the tariff war started, so he's obviously pleasing the markets. If you put all that together, this could be a stunning, successful year for Trump.
Well, Pierce knows a lot of ifs, but they're all ifs that he's aiming toward. And I think people, because of their insanity about him, haven't recognized that there's a different Donald Trump since Butler County. Much more serious, much more concerned about the future, much more concerned about life and death, and frankly, much more spiritual.
Yeah.
It's a different Donald Trump than the one Geraldo and you and I grew up with.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Cenk, I mean, putting aside the fact you can't stand him, do you acknowledge he's had a lot of wins?
Look, I give credit to Rudy. That one's for me, too. Yeah.
Well, I know
so, look, I give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, give him credit.
Yeah, no, on some things. So, look, I think that the budget bill is a disaster. I think that it's going to pass and it's going to create $4 trillion deficit. And they always give away tax cuts for the rich and then go, oh, golly gee, I don't know how we wound up with such a big debt. It's because of Republicans who passed these giant tax cuts. And I can go, and I don't like Marines in the streets. There's a million things that I criticize Donald Trump on that, and he deserves that criticism. But the proof's going to be in the pudding, right? So if he walks back all the tariffs, as he's in the middle of doing now, he closes the border, and this is the critical part. If he gets a 2-state solution, which just sounds so unbelievable, right? But if he gets that to happen, then there's no way that you could stop his popularity. Because at that point, he will be a peace president. He probably will win a Nobel Peace Prize. And it'll cement his legacy. And there's nothing that anybody can do about it. But that's a giant if, right?
Sure.
But if he allows Israel, which is much more likely, if he allows Israel to continue the slaughter in Gaza, he continues having them agitate for war in Iran, and he continues with the tariffs, he continues with Marines in the streets and National Guard in the streets, et cetera, then he's going to continue to be more and more unpopular. So the jury is very much out right now.
All right, Geraldo, I thought
Hi VG, did not see you Sunday, what happened?
I wasn't able to sleep. So, had to take yesterday off. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. I really like this RoboCop gun. Just looks really fucking cool.
Rudy hit on something there.
Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Rudy has slipped off into the night, I think. But thank you. Unexpected bonus to having returned. The thing you said, though, about Trump being a changed man since the assassination attempt, I've definitely detected that when I've talked to him. I also think he's a man who's got a second lease at life, a second lease at the presidency, and he's on a mission, a real fast-track mission to get stuff done, because he knows come the midterms that things may slow down. He might get paralyzed in terms of his ability to get stuff through. So
be law-abiding and hardworking and God.
Well, Cenk Uygur's a dumbass. But we already knew that.
BTW, it's the last day of June, so aka the end of what would usually be Pride Month.
Yet last day to be gay. Have to wait till next year to have gay sex. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
What's up, V-Gang? So it's fall now and pumpkin's in season, but we don't need another one of those pumpkin pie recipes. It's been done to death. But you know what else has been done to death? Pumpkin buns. But whatever, man, I'm still gonna make it anyways, but I'll make it interesting and put a Chinese whole food vegan twist to it. So the buns are made with whole wheat flour, and the filling is pretty much a combination of dates and black sesame. Just, you know, very simple, healthy ingredients, and you won't have to feel shitty about. I'm gonna get started by making the filling first by toasting some black sesame seeds. The ones I'm using here are already toasted, but it's still good to heat them up in the oven anyways, just so it's easier to grind them into a paste. With mortar and pestle while the seeds are still hot. Seeds up in a blender, but the product isn't going to be as fine and pasty compared to grinding it. For the dates, I'm blending it up in a food processor with just enough water to get it running smoothly.
Kenny Donatello's, oh yeah, buddy, you already know what it is, and shitty SoundCloud rap music is part of the experience.
Come on!
All right, thanks for the donation, Kenny.
Form 8 portions of sesame balls weighing roughly 50 grams each. I'm gonna keep them in the fridge while I start working on the dough. I'm gonna need to make some pumpkin puree for the dough. Peel the pumpkin and chop it up into small pieces. Now there are two ways of cooking it. The proper way is to steam it, but I'm just gonna use the easier and much faster way, which is to microwave it. This takes literally 6 minutes to cook until puree with a fork. Or if you want to get it super smooth, then feel free to just blend it up in the blender. Grams of water, all of dough. So it's smooth and springy. As a side note here, try to minimize the use of extra flour to dust the surface. The heat and allow it to rest for 5 minutes.
That looks good. Be pretty dope if I could eat food.
This is the most insane legal bike Ducati has ever made, the Panigolfi 4R, and it's not.
Oh, jeez, I hate the fucking AI voiceovers. I feel unbelievably terrible. Like, holy shit. Not getting enough food. The worst part isn't even just being hungry. It's just like the zero energy.
You actually been to Göbekli Tepe?
I've been many times. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I've been going for like 10 or 11 years. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I mean, it's been known since about 2000, but it was really starting to be excavated in the mid-1990s. But it was actually kind of partly discovered in 1963, by some American archaeologists. But they didn't recognize for what it was, so they didn't really dig there.
So what do you think it was?
Göbekli Tepe itself is a major megalithic complex. I mean, I believe that it was like a whole kind of change in consciousness was taking place at the end of the last ice age. This was within 200 years of the Younger Dryas kind of ending. So the weather had improved. It feels like groups coming in from the south, the Natufians, you've got groups coming in from the north and coming in through Anatolia, all kind of met and kind of like decided things had changed now. We're gonna monumentalize what we know and put it into stone. And they did it in a profound innovative manner. It was unbelievable because this is like, you look at the stone circles in Britain, they're the kind of rough-hewn stones mostly, just placed in circles or different, slightly different geometries. Here they were doing that to another level. They were carving every stone precisely, beautifully, with 3D reliefs on them, with abstract symbols, abstract human forms, anthropomorphic
They have
figures.
fingers on them.
Fingers, yeah, belts.
Little bags.
That's right, yeah, and strange V-necks with almost like pendants as well. It's just out there. I mean, it's like it seems like it must have come from somewhere, this remarkable kind of culture. I call it like the world's first super civilization, because there's actually they now think, although they say there's officially 12 sites, which include Karahan Tepe, Saybirch, and all these others. They're now saying there could be 38 sites, but then another one of the archaeologists said there could be nearly 100 going in this whole area across Southeast Turkey.
Based on what? What makes them think there could be 100?
Well, they keep finding all these surface artifacts, because most of these sites appear to be buried.
Can't they use LiDAR?
I think they have done, yeah. I think they have done, but it's mainly kind of rocky terrain. So I think it's harder to get LiDAR penetrating. I think you can get it through trees and see what's on the surface.
But not
so much
dirt.
just dirt and rock is a bit troublesome, I think. I think they've done GPR of a lot of places now, though. So they're going to get it. That's what they
Ground penetrating radar?
Yeah. So they kind of work out what's going on beneath that to see if it's worth investigating.
Now, what is the modern consensus of when it was constructed, the Göbekli Tepe T-pillars?
Göbekli Tepe officially dates to 9,600 BC, or 11,600 years ago. That's the earliest date, although it stretches, according to the date.
That's the earliest.
But that's currently, because only like a small percentage has been actually uncovered so far. So there's actually, 5, 7, maybe 8% has been uncovered.
Right, because my understanding of it was that it was intentionally buried to preserve it from some sort of cataclysm, meaning that it could have been constructed before some big cataclysm or some big flood, if the Younger Dryas was really what people think it is.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it being deliberately buried, that's been kind of challenged, actually, because that's what Klaus Schmidt, he was the main archaeologist, the original head archaeologist there, along with another guy as well, Hauptmann, he was called, and he proposed that it was deliberately buried. And this is a tradition you find in that part of the world, where they bury sites at the end of their use. So they've used them for 1,000, 2,000 years. But recent research done by the archaeologists there, they found that the enclosures that have been uncovered, or excavated, there's been like some kind of slope slide, kind of where the debris has fallen down into it over years and years and years, mud and rubbish and other things build up.
I'll give you $5 if you go and eat something right now. I don't think that's quite worth it. Bootycomb, don't he tells you not any leftover edibles? Nope. I was going to go out and get edibles today, but I kept fainting. And it wasn't safe for me to drive, so I just stayed home. My back and hamstrings are still really fucking sore. They're like perma-sore. Thanks for the donation though, Bootycom.
and some of it kind of filled in some of it like that. But then it's pretty much now believed that some of it was then buried afterwards because there's obvious repair work done. They've repaired it, put stuff back in place, and like put everything where it should be, even artifacts and statues and things like this. And then it's kind of covered over. And so I don't see how a slope slide would not just knock things out of place. You know, so it seems like there's a bit of both, a bit of slope slide and a bit of burying. But Karahan Tepe, that was deliberately buried.
How do you think they carved all this shit? What kind of tools were they using?
Well, officially, they were using like antler picks. They were kind of using slightly harder stones like basalt.
Yeah.
And for the fine stone work, they were using obsidian for like the precise detail.
Oh, yeah.
And things like this. There's obviously no metal back then. Although at Chayanu and one other site, they found copper. But it was beaten copper. It wasn't like heated up copper. They weren't smelting or anything like this. But but the oldest worked copper in the world was found at one of the sister sites to Karahan Tepe. It's like called Chayanu.
And then what exactly here did they use to carbon date?
Here, I think they've just used materials they found at the very lowest levels.
Right.
I think they found burnt wood and burnt grains. I think mainly burnt wood, especially at Göbekli Tepe. But even at Göbekli Tepe, the problem they got there is that they're choosing stuff that's in the bottom of the walls that are placed in between the outside pillars around the circle. But these walls could have been added later. That's the problem. So, because you can't, as soon as you get down to the bedrock, you can't go any further. You can't get anything below the bedrock. So they were using stuff on top of the bedrock in the walls, which could have been added later. And I think they were because I think that they were just utilizing bedrock initially, and the temples were like they were slotting kind of megaliths into like little sockets in the bedrock, like within steps and curbs, which you can see around the site.
It's interesting the way they build the walls by stacking all those little rocks together.
Yeah, I mean, they are probably later. I mean, that's the thing. They are probably later. I mean, because you can see the sophistication is a whole different level. Here, you can't, it's different. I mean, there's so much. I think with Karahan Tepe, it was kind of deliberately damaged before it was buried. It was like decommissioned, by the builders or by the people who were living there at the time.
Really?
Then it got buried. And like,
What happened to Pride Month, by the way? This year it was not even Pride Month. There were not even any Pride parades or even Igbed merch. It was not even marketed as Pride Month. What the fuck happened?
Probably something to do with Donald Trump. So, yeah, I think a lot of companies don't want to really promote it because of Trump. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Tepe, it doesn't seem to have been deliberately damaged. It was like...
I'll cheer you up, chap. Draw me sucking the fucking shit out of your dick. Don't forget the chef hat and the sunglasses and the cross on my ass cheek, bitch. As a drawing, I'm gonna yank it so I can have some ream cheese on my fried tofu to my mans. Fine, I'll give you $10 on top of the $3 I just donated if you go and eat something right now. Final offer, slut.
I don't really have anything that I can just eat. I literally only have lettuce, tofu, and some sweet potatoes. So, that would take like at least 30 minutes to make food. So can't really go and eat anything. Thanks for the donation though, Tyler. I need a new keyboard. I think I am gonna make some food after stream. My vision's getting fucked up and I can't really focus straight. Okay, there's the drawing of you sucking my dick. Thanks for the donation, Chef Poppy.
In other words, there is no more Pride Month because conservative nut jobs in this country shut it down and ruined it for everyone.
Yeah, basically. Like last year it was pretty bad. A lot of businesses were getting attacked by far right-wing nut jobs, and then Trump you know, made all those anti-LGBTQ policies, so I think they're just not gonna bother. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
What the actual fuck is going on? I went away from your stream for like an hour and come back to see this.
Yeah. Somebody paid me money to draw them sucking my dick. Thanks for the donation, Sid. I'm only eating about 1,500 to 1,700 calories per day. That's roughly a 50% deficit for me.
It was preserved almost. It was like almost rebuilt. It was repaired and then put back in place, and then they kind of finished the burial there after the slope slide had happened previously. Whereas here, it looks like stuff's been knocked about, and things like this. So yeah, it's a slight problem when you're kind of looking at this site. But yeah, there's a whole load of stuff here. I mean, even the floor, some of the floors of the new enclosures, they are made. They're not. Sometimes they're carved flat bedrock. I mean, it's perfectly level as well. I mean, perfectly level. But sometimes they use terrazzo, which is like this lime cement.
Terrazzo?
Yeah. And so they
really,
because officially the Romans only used, the first people invented it officially. Yeah. But they found it in use in abundance here. I mean, serious abundance. I mean, hundreds of square meters of terrazzo is being used. And so what that means is they were heating up limestone up to 850 degrees somehow, and then it would turn into this more powdery form, which they could then use, which is quite toxic kind of process.
That melts limestone.
Well, it breaks it down, yeah, and then they mix it with water and mud and other things.
What would be the temperature to melt down or smelt copper?
Yeah, I'm not sure about copper, but I think it's probably less than that. I would imagine
less than that. Huh?
Yeah, but when it comes to creating, oh my god,
1900 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, that's pretty hot. But they were making this cement basically, and it was waterproof. It was like this perfect kind of. So they were filling in gaps. They were making floors.
Wow.
They were doing this whole thing with it. Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Type in limestone melting point.
Yeah, you could put in terrazzo.
1500 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah, that's 825
Celsius.
So that's
825 Celsius.
Yeah. So that would be that's how you make the kind of you break it down.
So a little bit hotter for copper.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So they had all these kind of innovations and technologies happening in this part of the world, which really all developed here. This is like loads of inventions, loads of innovations that the world first ever saw were at these sites.
Is Karahan Tepe the one that Ben Van Kirkwood was showing me where it looked like they performed lots of human sacrifices there?
Sacrifices? My God, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
He was showing me a place in Turkey because he recently went to Turkey and he was saying my audio sounds really weird. Do you hear that, Steve? Is it just me?
It's just your sexy voice, man.
It's just in my head, huh? All right.
Well, here we've got Karahan Tepe. Yeah, these are the.
This is Karahan Tepe. Okay, he was showing me one site in Turkey. Maybe that one down below on the bottom. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
That looked like there was a place where they would cut people's heads off and the blood would like flow through like a little.
Yeah, you got a channel actually. Yeah.
A channel. Yeah, for blood.
Next to the one on the left there, next to what's called the Pillar Shrine or Structure AB, where you've got these. It's carved out of bedrock. That, by the way, completely carved out of bedrock. Yeah, and apart from only one of them is a freestanding pillar. The rest of these phallic-shaped pillars are carved from bedrock. But there's a channel leading into it. So some people have suggested it's either for water, it's for sacrifice. I mean, they found there's a site called Cheanu, which is near Diyarbakir, which is further north. It dates to around 8,400 BC, where they think they've actually found human hemoglobin and animal blood, particles on top of this slab, which looks like a sacrificial slab.
Right.
So some people are saying
that's what Ben was showing me.
It could be for that. Some people are saying it's going on here as well, but there's no real evidence of exactly what they were doing. But you never know. It could have been some weird, dark stuff they were up to for sure. But there's certainly something special going on, especially because it's so old. I mean, this is like 6,000 or 7,000 years before Stonehenge. It's old. It's that age difference with the pyramids as well. And yet,
Stonehenge was supposedly when?
Earliest phase officially around 2,500 to 3,000 BC.
So around the same time as the pyramids.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean there are some older elements in the area around Stonehenge, like Blickmead and the wooden post holes. They go back 10,000 years, but not megalithic construction. But yeah, this pillar shrine.
Sneed donators, what would you do if you were biking and these people walked up to you trying to start shit?
You're going the river!
We literally just reacted to that.
Taking pictures? Huh? The fuck are you guys taking pictures of? What are you talking about? You're just fucking sitting here blocking the parking spot. So we can get up. Okay? What are you waiting for? What if someone wants to fucking park here? If someone wants to park here, I'll get up. Stand up, fool. Nope. Stand the fuck up. I'm gonna call the police right now, so you guys have to. What are you, a fucking snitch? Yeah. You're even from here, bro? You're from LA? No, I'm from New Jersey. New Jersey? Yeah. Stand the fuck up, bro.
I'd stand up and knock his fucking teeth out right away.
Listen, you guys have a joke right now. Stand the fuck up. What the fuck are you doing? Look at me, fool, when I talk to you. I'm not scared of no fucking cops. They can take me back. Yeah. So what's the problem? Just fucking recording in public? Yeah.
It is public.
Man, I fucking know you, fool.
Yeah, it's too bad that guy didn't have a gun. Should have just pulled it out and blown him away. So stupid how we have this, like, cuck bitch society where, why would you use a gun? He didn't even attack you yet, and is it really worth taking away someone's life? Like, as if anybody gives a shit if a fucking loser like that dies. Should be able to just blow fuckers like that away. Such a joke. Guaranteed, if they made it legal to shoot people if they're acting that way, you'd see a whole heck of a lot less of that. But no, all these cucked liberal retards just, you know, want to live like this, where random people can start shit, threaten you, and escalates more and more into more bullshit, and criminals just realize they can do whatever the fuck they want. Thanks for the donation though, Sneed.
I'm eating less calories than you every day, which is a 50% decrease, and I'm doing PPS split and doing 90 minutes to 100 minutes cardio. Then my weight's after 6 days a week and I train without eating. I know how you feel, VG.
Yeah, it really sucks. When I was fatter, it was easier to get by, but now that I'm pretty lean, just zero fucking energy, dude. Your body really starts to fight back once you get around 10%. Thanks for the donation, Bootycam.
It's a shame that the alt-right won the battle and got Pride Month cancelled. There is no excuse for hate to win.
I mean, none of these companies care, right? It's all a business, so it was bound to happen if you disrupt business enough, right? So with all the alt-right retards attacking people at all these, like, clothing stores and shit, and then, you know, Trump threatening all these companies, you know, they're obviously going to give up. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Play your video of you addressing Courtney Ryan's stupidity and react to the part where say her husband looks like a lesbian. Bro. That's the funniest video ever.
Yeah, we can do that. Welcome to another episode of You're Wrong and I'm Always Right. And in today's episode, we're going
eating enough protein. I talked about this in a video about things that are making men ugly. It's so true. Look up the benefits.
So there's a lot I could say about this, but let's just start off by pointing out the fact that Courtney Ryan is a delusional hypocrite. Now, this is a photo she posted to her Instagram, and no, this is not a lesbian couple, and it's not two girls just having a fun day out. That person on the left is a man, and that's her husband. I am being dead fucking serious right now. Before I even found out about her YouTube channel, I randomly happened to stumble upon this Instagram post. I literally thought her husband was a girl. I thought these were two women who were either in a lesbian relationship or like just two girlfriends. I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying this for comedic effect. Her husband gets mistaken for a lesbian, and this is the chick who's saying, yeah, vegans, they're small and weak and they can't get enough protein, and she's literally married to a guy who is tiny and weak and gets mistaken for a lesbian. You can look at, like, their wedding photos. Compare their arm sizes. Courtney Ryan's arms are bigger than her husband's arms. And it gets better. This guy is a watch salesman, and he has his own YouTube channel. So basically, this guy really likes jewelry. He wears bracelets. Just because you put a clock on a bracelet, that doesn't mean it's not a bracelet. And you can see, just standing next to other men, this guy is weak and small and tiny. So what a liability. This woman is talking about how I want a big, strong man who eats a lot of meat and protein so, you know, he could protect me with his big muscles. But you're married to a guy who is weak and scrawny, looks like a girl, and likes to wear expensive jewelry. So, Courtney, I've been vegan for... Such a dumb bitch, dude. Well, thanks for the donation, Vegan Power Gaming. Dodo donates $2. He's misquoting Dr. King again.
All right, you are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
Well, let me ask you about what Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has had to say. He's had a lot to say about your campaign. He called you a communist. Because he's the president, I want to give you a chance.
Yeah, he is a communist.
To respond directly to him. How do you respond? Are you a communist?
No, I am not. And I have already had to start to get used to the fact that the president will talk about how I look, how I sound, where I'm from, who I am. Ultimately, because he wants to distract from campaign to empower that he has since then betrayed. Call it democratic socialism.
Yeah, we already reacted to that part. Did you react to this one or different clip? Also, No True Scotsman. We already reacted to that clip.
I have a question. What do you say about politicians that constantly reaffirm Israel's right to exist?
Yep. And, like clockwork, the people that he's trying to get votes from, don't let him in the club. Listen to how beautiful they sound. Yeah, I've already seen that clip. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
CDG, you missed earlier. I sent Richie a video from Sugar Boy and he literally watched like 5 to 10 seconds of it without realizing it. He was like adjusting the volume and shit. Before he realized and closed it and didn't say thanks. What a clown, lol.
That's great.
Drawing thing is really interesting. I mean, it's quite bizarre. It's got like a porthole stone carved out of the bedrock, almost like a hole, going through to the main enclosure, which is a 75-foot wide enclosure, like a stone circle, but it's more kind of elliptical shape. It's actually a very specific geometry. And actually, yeah, down there, that image there, that's a pretty good one. You got various ones. Not that one. There's one with the pillar shrine. Yeah, if you actually type in Karahan Tepe winter solstice, that'll come up with our article we did, and it shows some good images. But there's, yeah, see this is our stuff here. So we found this weird alignment on the winter solstice, myself and JJ Ainsworth. That's the article, yeah, the first one we did. And we accidentally turned up there. We got kind of a little bit of trouble. We had to go the next morning because officials were going to come in and throw us out, possibly arrest us, and this, that, and the other. And so we had to go the first thing in the morning on 20th December 2021. And because if you go to the top of that page, you can see that this blade of light, kind of a bit further down.
Will this become a sleep stream?
Probably not. Today's just a bad day. I have no energy at all from dieting. Thanks for the donation, James.
Down this blade of light kind of was hitting the face. This head, you see this head's coming out the side.
What is that?
It's like carved out of the bedrock, this head with this serpentine neck with a V-neck thing.
Where is it?
It's just on the right there. If you go down a bit, you can see some other images.
What is that?
Yeah, Vegan Teacher, I'm planning on doing an interview with Gary Yourofsky. I think we've got it planned for July 7th.
line going through this diagonally.
That's where the winter solstice sunrise hits the head.
Okay, so you're just sort of illustrating like where it shines.
Yeah, if you go down a bit, you can actually see a couple more images. Hopefully they're on there. Should be. And maybe it's in the video. Oh, that's where it goes through the main enclosure. Yeah. And then goes through that little hole. And this is perfectly winter solstice.
Weird.
It's perfectly winter solstice, and it hits his head, and there's light. That's it there. And so the light moves around. It hits the head and moves around the head for 45 minutes. So it's perfect.
Really?
It's perfectly aligned to the winter solstice. It's pretty crazy. And so that kind of blew our minds because that proves an understanding of solar astronomy nearly 12,000 years ago, or at least 11,400 years ago, which is the age of Karahan Tepe.
Hey, don't die on stream.
Probably because a lot of men realize they got better things to do. Thanks for the donation, Nut Muffin.
And so and the fact you can go there now and you can see it on the winter solstice. It happens. You can watch the light move around the head, like from here, this side of the head, all the way around here, and it's pretty epic. We've actually got time lapses of it and things like this, and so that proves there's a sophistication about these sites and there's astronomy related to these sites. And that's kind of what the head looks like after it's fully illuminated.
Wow.
But it's pretty weird. I mean that's 3 times the size of a human head, carved out of bedrock. It's got like a flat top. It's got an open mouth, and the eyes, this was actually...
like straight...
Well, no, apparently, because Graham Hancock and Neshmi Corral, who's the head archaeologist, went in the pillar shrine, where structure AB here, when they were filming the first series of Ancient Apocalypse, looked carefully at it and noticed that the eyes were looking to the right, his right, towards the hold stone where the winter solstice comes in, even though the head faces roughly east.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can't really see it clearly on here, but they said they went in there and actually saw that. So yeah, so we've got this winter solstice thing going on, which is bizarre, but then...
Sounds like you may be losing weight too fast. Did you finally get a scale?
Yeah, I did. Lowest weigh-in I've had so far was 199 pounds. I definitely lost more weight since I weighed myself like 4 or 5 days ago. I just have, like, I'm starting to see striations across my chest. There's more striations showing on my shoulders and shit. And abs are looking more defined. Not sure exactly what I weigh in right now. But yeah, I lost more body fat. Thanks for the donation, James. Dodo donated $2. Fucking cucks. Post unavailable.
What the purpose is about this entire project. It's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists. And we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it is the end goal of ceasing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support.
Yeah, this guy's a full-fledged fucking communist. Like, just absolute insane whack job. Again, like, it's no surprise it's mostly dumb white college kids voting for him. Like, this is all the stupid horse shit they're learning in school. and seeing on TikTok. Home Alone 2 was so good. I'm glad I don't have to go to the store anymore to rent movies. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Sengoku donated $2. Follow this chick's fitness page, and she always tries to tell people that sprinting is better than incline walking for fat loss. This is dumb in my view. What's your take? It's definitely not. Fatigue management is a way bigger fucking issue, so definitely not.
I have your attention.
I love how she says it grows more muscle. She's not even jacked. Like, what the fuck is she talking about? Thanks for the donation, Sengoku.
Hard to believe that you weighed almost 130 kilograms when I look at you now.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight. Thanks for the donation, James.
I love you so much, wish I could literally be your left testicle. You'd have a buddy for the rest of your life and I can watch you whack it. I'd stick my tongue out as you come so you don't have to clean up and recycle cum. BTW, how lean are you gonna get?
As lean as I can be. So I'm gonna try to get down to 190 pounds and see, but I'm gonna try to get as lean as I can. Kind of reminds me of Vampire Hunter D and his parasite hand. I wonder, he must use his other hand to jerk off. Imagine, like, trying to wank it and then you have, like, this thing on your hand bite you. Thanks for the donation, though, CDG.
You know, stuff like this makes me glad that public school is headed to extinction.
It's probably not a great thing. If I ever had a kid, I'd probably have them, like, homeschooled. Because public school is just such a shithole, but, you know, most people can't afford that. But, yeah, public school does kind of suck. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Soul Child, donate $2. What I meant the other day by Sweden, Norway, etc. being socialist, I meant democratic socialist. I.e. free healthcare, childcare, school, etc. Not complete socialism. That's not socialism. Mamdani is a democratic socialist like Bernie Sanders. AOC, etc. I don't think AOC... she hasn't really talked enough about it. I don't think she'd... Like, that term doesn't even make any sense. People who say this shit are just fucking stupid and they just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, socialism is inherently democratic, technically speaking. It's technically more democratic than free market democracies, because, like, literally your job, like every business, ends up being democratic. So you have like these democratic bureaucracies wedged in every business, So I don't know, like, what the fuck do they even mean by democratic socialist? But none of this shit works. On a, like, there are, I've seen some tech companies where they do have a, they do run their business in that sort of, socialist fashion. But these are, like, highly educated people in very, like, very small, you know, businesses where they might have like 20 or 30 employees. You can't run an entire fucking country in a socialist fashion. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for every job, every position, every business. The idea is just fucking stupid. And just because something's socially funded, that doesn't mean the country is socialist or democratic socialist. It's just fucking idiotic. Like, by that definition, oh, United States of America is socialist. We are, like, our military is socially funded. The police are socially funded. Firefighters are socially funded. Roads are socially funded. Schools are socially funded. Like, it's just fucking dumb. Yeah, with countries like Canada, we just add healthcare to that list of things that are socially funded. It doesn't make it socialist. It's just fucking dumb. Can you describe the perfect girl for you? What would she be like? More quiet or outgoing? Perfect woman doesn't exist. They're all kind of annoying in their own unique ways. Dodo Donatillers, do you have a sex drive when you're this lean? This is a nice movie. When I'm really dying, like today, no. But when I have more energy, I do. This is why you don't judge a book by its cover.
Destroy.
RFK Jr. tells Tucker Carlson CDC buried its own internal study showing 1,135% increase in autism risk from hepatitis B vaccination. They never, ever found that.
What you would do if you wanted to find the answer, which is to compare outcomes in a fully vaccinated group to health outcomes in an unvaccinated group. And CDC did that study in 1999. They brought in a team of scientists under a Belgian researcher named Thomas Verstraeten, and they looked at the data. They looked at children who had received the hepatitis vaccine within the first 30 days of life, and compared those children to children who had received the vaccine later or not at all. And they found an 1,135% elevated risk of autism among the vaccinated children.
They never found that.
And it shocked them. They kept the study secret, and then they manipulated it through 5 different iterations.
That never happened.
To try to bury the link. And, you know, we know how they did it. They got rid of all the older children, essentially, and just had younger children who were too young to be diagnosed.
I have a family member who has autism. She was diagnosed with it when she was like a year and a half or 2 years old or something. Like, you can diagnose a kid with autism when they're very, very young, like before they're even able to speak. So he's full of shit.
And they stratified the data, and they did a lot of other tricks.
So he's insane and makes shit up. That's great. Yep.
I'm going to do something weird. I'll definitely get criticized by my kids for this. I'm going to do the least TikTok video ever and tell you what it's like to get old. When it's 53, I could have a nice relationship with him, but it would be older, younger person, right? And 53 is an older person. It is so weird getting old. It is, your friends are getting married, see you the same. It doesn't feel good for a grandparent.
Boring. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Are you worried that your significant other weight loss might cause cardiovascular problems?
No, don't see how it could cause cardiovascular issues. Thanks for the donation, James.
And that suggests, if they were doing that then they must have known about it long before then. They must have developed it and built the site, because the head, the whole pillar shrine, and the whole stone are bedrock. They're carved out of bedrock, so it's a permanent fixture. They're not stones that can be moved. So they must have been doing it for a long time before they even started building the site. They sort of build up to it. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty compelling. I mean, then you've got possible alignments like this at Göbekli Tepe, and as more gets excavated, there's going to be a whole bunch more of these kind of things coming out of this part of the world. So there's a lot to consider when you're like looking at these sites.
Now, how far is Karahan Tepe from Göbekli Tepe?
It's about 20 to 25 miles southeast from that area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you got like a kind of a 3D scan of it. That's my buddy did some drone stuff there. They made a 3D scan.
Holy, that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this a lot more has been excavated since this. This was done in 2020.
Stories or something.
But that's it. I mean, the thing about the Kailasa Temple, I mean, that's one of about 30 or 40 temples, and it's one site. You know, which I didn't realize when I got there. I had a day there, and it was not enough. And I spent my whole time there, and maybe one other temple. I mean, I'm sure Praveen talked about this.
Yeah,
man.
Have you been there?
I have been there. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, and it really got me. I mean, I was like, whoa, this is like much bigger, much more intricate than I realized.
When did they say that was built? When is the like accepted date for that?
For the Kailasa, I think it's only like about 1,000 years ago or something, or less.
Brilliant.
Officially. But Praveen doesn't think so. He thinks it's much older. I mean, now they found sites like this. They found Karahan Tepe. Everything is going to be should be looked at again. You know, there needs to be another look at the dating of these sites around the world, because if they were doing this then, I mean, looking down kind of on the bench. This is the Karahan Tepe, the one on the right there, and he's holding his phallus, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And he's clearly got this kind of emaciation thing going on with the kind of neck. You see the V thing on his neck and the ribs.
Yeah.
And so he's also got a weird beard. He's got like almost like one of them fake Egyptian beards.
Yeah.
And his haircut is like almost like a mullet going down the back, but shaved above the ears. And we've seen other Mohican type haircuts carved in stone there as well. I mean, which is pretty bizarre. And next
Do we know this was carved around the same time?
Yeah, I mean, they think it was pretty much the same time. They're actually saying it might be a fraction younger, a few hundred years younger.
Right.
But we're not so sure. And also there was like a vulture statue was found there, and giant T-shaped pillars, again, all mainly broken. And again, even this statue was broken in like 3 parts.
Right, yeah, you see that.
You see this deliberate kind of breakage. I mean, and some of the other human statues they found previously, again, they're broken. So it's kind of, is it a sort of ceremonial breaking of the statues? This is what some people have suggested. So yeah, I think there's a lot more to this culture.
Or it could be competing cultures or tribes like coming to destroy them, like similar to what happened with the Kailasa Temple.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they tried to destroy that and failed pretty miserably.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job destroying some of the stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of the Indian stuff was pretty. A lot of the famous Indian sites were ravaged.
Yeah.
By the like Middle Eastern cultures, the Islam statues of those pharaohs is just mind bending, man.
That's it. In fact, looking at ancient metrology, like the Sumerian foot, there's a few other geometries we can look at. And you see these in British stone circles, you see them in Brittany and France. They must have recognized some kind of special quality about it to choose that site. But also, if you know the work of John Burke, who wrote Seed of Knowledge, a good friend of mine, he's done a lot of research on the fact that like someone had gone out to different parts of the world and marked specific latitudes.
I'm going to have to sleep. Well, I probably won't be able to sleep, but I'm gonna go rest. I'm gonna make some food because I'm like literally dying. So I'm gonna eat more tonight, and then tomorrow I should have a lot more energy. I don't have any apples. Tomorrow's a holiday, so good chance I'll be streaming earlier tomorrow. I might start in like the afternoon or something. So,
You are a gay lord. You could just make food and eat on stream and be fine.
it would take at least 30 minutes for me to make food, dude. So, by the time I come back, no one's gonna be here. But I'm gonna eat more food, and then tomorrow I should have more energy, and then we can have like a normal stream. But hope you all had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. It's Canada Day tomorrow. A very pointless holiday. So yeah, Canada Day. But I hope you all had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated again. Sweet dreams, and I should see you all tomorrow. Zoot stream tomorrow? No, I'm not going to be able to get any edibles. It's a holiday, so all the stores are closed. But thanks again, everybody. Sweet dreams. See you all tomorrow.